Welcome to the Smark Foundation podcast. I'm Aaron. This is Adam.
Oh, hi, Marks.
And we are here to cover everything from AEW in the last week. And I mean, now that we're just doing AEW, sometimes these intros are kind of hard to come up with. But this week, today, actually, as we record this, we learned that Darby Allin has hit the summit of what's the mountain he's called?
Mount Everest.
Everest. Yeah, he's climbing Everest. I don't know how I forgot that name. But so he summited Everest, which only means one thing: that this Death Rider shit's gonna be over soon.
Yep. I saw the discourse today because as soon as that news hit, Blue Sky was abuzz with like, okay, well, when is he coming back? And hang on, that means he will be in time for All In. So everybody's like, actually, honestly, kind of freaking out a little bit. I feel about him, usurping either Hangers or Will Ospreay's place in the main event. When I just don't see it like that. My feelings on the situation are pretty well documented on this show. I feel like it has to be Darby because they set it up to be Darby. Like as soon as Moxley said to his face, "You will never be world champion." Well, obviously, the underdog babyface has to become the world champion in the face of that, and it has to be the guy who said he would never do it in order to accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way that this works without feeling like it was just another, like, well, Vince McMahon dropped angle. Like, it's the only way. The only way. So either one of two things happens. One of three things happens. Either the winner of the Owen wins the belt from Moxley and drops it back to him. Moxley retains and then loses it later at All In, which I don't think anybody really wants, and then loses it to Darby later. Or number three, my idea, which I outlined in a previous episode. I mean, to recap for those, since we gained a lot of listeners in the past 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, we have.
If you haven't gone, which for the record, thank you up front, thank you so much for joining us. It was a really pleasant surprise to see the numbers from the episode from 2 weeks ago. It was mind blowing. It was fantastic. Thank you guys for joining us, and we hope to create enough quality content that you'll stick around for us that you find us entertaining or insightful or in any way valuable to spend your precious time with us. But if you haven't gone back in the chronicles, and Lord knows these episodes can get long sometimes. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't go back and do it.
Right.
My idea would be to have whoever wins the Owen win the Owen, unabated, and this works for, I think it works for Hanger a little bit better than it does for Ospreay, for which you'll see at the end. But let's say Hanger wins, and then in the lead up to All In, because there's like 6 or 7 weeks between Double or Nothing and All In, have him just like be completely dominant and just be like, it looks like it's inevitable that he, even it becomes so self-evident that he's going to beat Moxley that even Moxley feels it. And so when All In the day of All In happens, the unthinkable also happens. At the very beginning of the show, they show Moxley and the Death Riders completely taking out Hangman Adam Page before the show even starts, before the match starts. Have him carried away in an ambulance. Do it, before you go and say, oh, they already did this thing with MJF. The difference here is that Hanger doesn't come back. Hanger doesn't come back. They still do the thing at the end where the main event happens and everybody's been waiting the whole time. Oh, is Hanger going to be okay? Is he going to get cleared before he comes back? Is he going to, whatever is, but Moxley's in the ring. He wants a count out victory by forfeit. But instead of Hanger, out comes Tony Khan. And he says, look, I could tell that if you were feeling this way, that it was inevitable that Hangman was going to beat you. If it was obvious that you felt this way, it was clearly obvious to me too. And if it was obvious to me that you were feeling that way, it was obvious to me that I needed to have a backup plan. So Hangman Adam Page will get his title shot when he can get cleared. But in the meantime, I promise these 50,000 people here in Arlington a quality main event for the world title. So I have a backup solution. And that's when you bring out Darby Allin. And Darby Allin kicks the crap out of Jon Moxley. Absolutely destroys him. You know, you can say that he was changed by his spiritual experience on the mountain. You can do whatever. And then Forbidden Doors, the next one, you can have him call out Will Ospreay because the show's in London, so that's your next defense is that's the money match is Darby versus Ospreay there, and have him call out Ospreay saying, "Look, before they threw me down the stairs and injured me, I got a promise from you that you were going to fight these Death Riders once and win back the soul of AEW from them." Once you were done with the Don Callis family. Instead of going right to that, taking care of your business and then switching your tact, you decided to put your efforts into the Owen and faffing around with your new friends, Kevin Knight and Speedball Bailey, and all this other stuff. It's like you could have gone right for them. Nobody would have even batted an eye if you're Will Ospreay, if you had decided to just challenge for the belt. But no, you didn't. You decided to stroke your own ego. So now I'm going to beat it out of you. And I'm going to do it in front of your countrymen. And not only that, but Darby is 1-0 against Will Ospreay. He beat him in the Continental Classic. So it is absolutely believable that he could win there again, which creates your intrigue. And then you have Hanger win it later.
I like that plan. But I just think it might be curtailed because I find that, see, what is it? It's the 25th, so it's 7 days, so it's next Sunday.
I don't think he'll be back.
I think he'll be back.
I don't think he'll be back in time. Like, I mean, I know
a normal person wouldn't be back. A normal person
just gonna cough and drop all the way down the mountain.
Hey, he fucking might, man. I saw somebody earlier say that he was gonna do a jump, is he gonna do a jump off the top and do a waiting bucket at the bottom? And I was like, if he jumps off the top, all that's gonna be left of him is gonna fit in a bucket at the bottom.
Do you think he brought one of those batsuit hang gliding things where he's just he's
would
a
I be
squirrel
surprised?
and just goes all the way down to Bhutan?
Would I be surprised if the answer was yes? Would you? Would anyone? Would anybody be surprised if he just whipped a hang glider out of his backpack and took off?
Wouldn't.
Or the backpack was a parachute the whole time. If we go, because he is a wrestler. Oh my God, it was a parachute the whole time. By God, Kang, he just jumped off the summit.
If he did that, he would die though. The high winds up there, there's no guarantee that he would even get 50 feet without dying.
No guarantee at all. But see, that's the thing, though. A normal person is not summiting Everest today and will be back at AEW in 7 days. Now, I'm not hyping myself up for it too much because maybe in this case he will act like a normal person and he'll take the time off and reacclimate to being down here. I mean, I'm positive it's going to take him probably a few days to get down the mountain unless they're flying him off of it. But I doubt that's happening also. So
yeah, I don't think so.
I imagine it takes a few days to get down. I don't know how long that is actually. So, I mean, it could be more time to get down than he has.
It took 6 weeks to go up. I imagine that it would take quicker to go down because even if you're being the most careful, you're still being aided by gravity and gradually getting back into what the atmosphere that you are normally acclimated to.
Altitude
as opposed
sickness
to
is
going
fucking
around.
real.
Yeah,
and when you go way high up like that, they're gonna have to sleep lower every night. Period. From here.
Yeah.
Because there's so much nitrogen in his blood or something like that. I forget. I don't know the exact science to it, but I know the general idea, and that is as high as he is right now, being the highest point on Earth, He's gonna have to he has to for the next 7 days sleep lower every night consecutively to remove some of the nitrogen from his body so that he doesn't have burst blood vessels or some shit like that. So there's a lot to it. There's a lot of physically demanding stuff to this. What he's doing right now, and it's commendable what he's doing. It's fucking awesome.
Which means, hey, if that's the case, there's no way he's going to be back in a week.
Now, so
there's no way he's going to be back in a week.
So okay, if he's not back in a week though, and I okay, like I said, unless they're flying him off the summit in a helicopter, which Tony Khan is capable of doing, so I will never put it past him. Hey man, what day are you summiting? Okay, cool. We have a pay-per-view a week later. I'm going to send a helicopter. We're going to make sure we get you down fast.
Can a helicopter even go that high? That's 9 kilometers in the air.
If not, Tony Khan could absolutely chart a C-130 and have him picked up CIA style with a balloon. And that's real. So, many people they watch Batman and they're like, that's fake. No, that thing that he did is real. Where he got the Chinese businessman dragged away that. You could absolutely do.
It's very difficult.
It's difficult, but it's real.
Expensive, but it's real. It's based on real stuff.
Multi-billionaire. I don't put anything past him. Honestly, dude, he's the type of guy. Tell me he's not that type of guy. If he's doing something like that, he's getting some rad ass footage while he does that, and it's gonna be aired on Sunday.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Okay, say for instance that happens. Can you imagine the discourse surrounding Tony Khan? Because at that point, when you are, first of all, okay, there's very eat the rich and no good billionaires, blah, et cetera, put that aside, put all that rhetoric aside.
Fair.
If you spend that much money retrieving somebody so that they can appear on your wrestling show, I honestly don't think anybody could deny that is the biggest wrestling fan on the face of God's green earth. If they're willing to spend that much money to make that kind of extraction.
I mean,
how else could you describe it?
If that's the case, if I ever meet him, the first thing I'll do is say I love you.
Right?
Not be facetious about it at all.
How could anybody, as long as everything goes to plan, how could anybody hate on that guy ever again? How could you justify it?
You think the IWC needs justification to be haters?
Well,
my sweet summer child.
True. Hey.
Yeah.
Where's Ice-T?
Yeah. So, okay. So beyond the way out there hypotheticals, okay. No. I don't think he will be there for Sunday, but it's never not a possibility. It's always a possibility with people like Tony Khan and Darby Allin being the driving forces behind this. It's 100% possible. Probable, less so. Likely, even less so than that.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm not hyping myself up and being oh, this is going to happen. So, holy shit, Darby Allin's going to be back Sunday. If that happens, I will lose my fucking mind on our stream. No questions asked.
How could you not? I'm going to wake up my kids.
Yeah.
Sure.
But, that aside, that leaves us from today 7 weeks. We're 7 weeks out from All In.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've kicked around the idea of going down to Dallas, not for All In because I can't really afford All In tickets, but I've kicked around the idea of going down there and enjoying all the indie festivities around it.
Yeah.
Because I know a bunch of people down there. I'd probably go to everything. But this is I need him to be back at All In. I'm positive he will be. But that begs the question though, well, I guess it doesn't really though, because is there a pay-per-view in June between these two?
No,
there's nothing in June between.
Double or Nothing, and then there's nothing in June.
Okay,
and then on July, July 12th, right?
Yeah, it's All In.
All In.
Okay, So we don't have to beg
That's
the
it.
question of what happens today or next Sunday, really, because I mean, all we're deciding is who is supposed to be facing him at All In, and then an Anarchy or an arena. He's involved in Anarchy in the arena, so there's no like title on the line or anything.
Right.
Um,
Well, actually, I just remembered something. You know, that's not going to be one that we live stream anyway, because that's a Saturday.
which one? All In?
All In. All In's a
Oh,
Saturday.
okay.
So we will be marking out privately in our own homes.
Oh no, I'll get right on this mic and mark out. Start marking out in the intro, like, so yesterday was awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm glad he's made it to the summit. I'm sure he'll safely make it back down.
I hope he does.
The hard part's over.
Like, that's why I'm not celebrating it. It's like I don't want to I don't want to jinx it. Like, there's still a lot that could go wrong. You know.
Yeah.
I tenuous congratulations to Darby Allin and his team. You know, his Sherpas. Like, they're like the unsung heroes in all this.
Oh, like 7 of them.
Yeah. But, you know, I'm holding off my celebration until I know that he's at sea level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least the summit of the mountain. I'm sure the summit is higher than sea level, but or not summit, the foot
the base,
of the mountain.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, just, you know, didn't know what to talk about really in this intro, and then today we got that news about Darby going on. So that's, you know, current, I guess. You know, people hearing this tomorrow won't be like, they're talking about shit from a week ago, which we gonna do that too, guys. We got a Wednesday and a Saturday to cover. The only other thing I'd really like to say in the intro here is Max pissed me off this week. I have made this public, so if you guys have been watching, if anybody's been watching my Blue Sky feed, you've seen this already. But Collision, as we record here at 9 p.m. Collision is still not on Max.
I thought you meant. I didn't know you meant HBO Max. I thought you meant like Max Caster or Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
No, HBO Max.
And I'm like, what? It's like they were. No. Caster wasn't even on the show this week.
Both of them are still fuck ups though.
I mean, they are.
I mean, they do things that their characters would do, and I guess they don't see the forest for the trees or something. But when they do things in characters, sometimes they're like, man, maybe you should like not do that specific thing just on TV in general. But anyway, those Maxes aside, we'll get to them at some point. At least one of them this week.
One of them.
But yeah, HBO Max as of this recording, 9 is currently 9:12 p.m. Texas
I know
time,
we're missing 2 matches. Like,
it's not on there at all.
That's crazy.
Like it ended.
That's nuts.
They did not put the replay up. Tony Khan said we would. He actually tweeted or Blue Sky. I can't remember which site was on.
Tweeted and then.
But he said that they would re-show the whole thing live streaming on Max as well at 10 p.m. My time, it was 10 p.m. when it came on West Coast. And it did not stream on Max during that time frame because I tried to watch it and it was not there. And the replay is still not up. And usually the replay is literally up like seconds after the show is over.
Yeah.
If I miss the show, I immediately go on there and the replay is already on there.
Me too. I never catch it live because my kids go to bed, you know, it's in process while the show is on. So I always like go to it and then start from the beginning whenever I get the chance to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you're absolutely right. The replay is always on like right then. I don't know what happened. I think that people are misplacing their anger. They're not placing it on HBO Max as much as they are on TK, which is stupid.
I'm not placing it on TK at all because it's on
I'm not
Triller.
Saying you. I'm not saying on you. I'm saying on, you know, like when it happened, people were so angry. It's like TK. Rah! I saw a whole bunch of stuff in my YouTube algorithm on AEW big ABW botch. And I'm like, this isn't on.
No, I don't think this is TK's fault.
This is not on that. No, of course not. It's a network.
The guy who handles their pre-tapes is on Blue Sky, and he said everything was ready and set like it was supposed to be. So I don't blame this on AEW. I don't blame it on Tony Khan because this actual situation from his. Like, I mean, yes, he can influence a decision that would have made this happen, but this is as the guy who books the show and the guy who owns the company all at the same time, this shit is kind of way outside of his sphere.
Yeah.
He is insulated from this by at least 5 steps, guaranteed.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you may have had a little bit more of a leg to stand, not much, but a little bit more of a leg to stand on if it was a live show. But it was a taped show that they sent in days ahead of time.
Yeah.
Like, Tony Khan's role in this was done days before this incident happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. And it's
why were people getting upset with Tony Khan? It didn't make any sense to me.
And I don't know, man, because it's not. This is 100% an HBO Max problem because it's not there. It is on Triller and it is in full, including the final 30 minutes that everybody missed on TV, on the pirate sites. So like, and I hate to admit that sometimes I have to go to a pirate site, but HBO Max flubbed it hard this week, and I had no other choice.
They really did.
I had no other choice. I actually do pay for the privilege though, so
yeah.
It's
well,
not
you can talk about the last 30 minutes then, because I don't even have results. My normal sites were dependent on streams that were legit, I guess.
Yeah.
So and on cable, so like it got cut off on TNT too. That's the other thing. It got cut off on TNT as well. They cut it off for Black Adam of all things. There's
really. Like really?
There is a part of me that thinks it's kind of funny to bat around the facetious idea of The Rock.
But this is The Rock's
sabotaging a throwaway episode of Collision. For no
I'll tell you this: that last 30 minutes turned it into more of a throwaway Collision than I would have liked, honestly.
Yeah, we'll get to it later, but like even on paper, it seemed very, very B show.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, there just was like when I saw the match lineup, that little card thing they released like Saturday mornings.
Like everything was good.
It was good, but it wasn't
everything was entertaining, but it wasn't like main event stuff.
I was like, "Where's the main event?" That's what I thought when I saw it. I was like, "Oh, it's Yuta and where's the main event?"
Yeah.
No offense to Will Hobbs.
No.
All offense in the world to Wheeler Yuta.
But for other things, not for this.
Well, I mean, he's a heel. Fuck him. I don't root for heels around here. Yeah, I do. But Yuta, I don't know, little shih tzu he is.
Yeah.
But no. So I don't know, man. There was just I looked at the card all together and was like, this is missing like a step or two. At least that's how I felt. But yeah, it was watchable. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't like, I mean, there was a match against one of the Ops and one of the Death Riders. What happened? You know what happened. I don't even have to tell you. I bet you could.
Probably a schmaz finish leading to Yuta picking up the win nefariously somehow, if I had to guess.
And what happened afterwards?
Everybody hit the ring like it was 1996 in WCW on Nitro.
Okay, you're pretty close. Yeah, so I mean, like you're pretty close. I mean, like you got the general idea. Like I mean, and that's part of the reason why I'm like, thank God Darby got to the summit, because this NWO shit is getting old, man. Like I am sorry, but like it got old in WCW. It was like, oh, we love WCW and the Nitro and Raw days. Like, hey, I'm sorry, guys. Ain't none of y'all gonna tell me that at some point you didn't get sick of DX or NWO interfering in every match on one of the shows.
Every single thing.
You ain't gonna lie to me and tell me otherwise, because I know better. I was that guy.
Like WCW gets a lot of crap for it, but you go back and watch the Attitude Era, and there were so many DQ and just like schmaz finishes to matches that didn't even matter. Like either the matches were like 3 minutes long, or they ended in some kind of thing where like nobody won and nobody lost, but everybody was protected because everybody apparently needed protecting. So like it's that fed into the chaos that the audience was looking for at the time. So I mean it worked with that audience, but like you look back on it now, it's like, oh my god. Like
yeah. Like I mean,
this is like, come on, let's we're wasting time here.
Yeah. You pick a random Raw or Nitro, like just pick a
Yeah.
random Raw or Nitro and watch it, and the chances that it is just like a complete chaotic shit show from start to finish is
Yeah,
85%.
pretty high. Yeah,
At least
pretty high.
85%.
Pretty
But
high.
yeah, so like
But yeah,
this.
I feel like though the good news is that All In is the logical place to end this whole Death Riders saga.
Yeah.
At least with the belt on the line. They may still be around. We still need to kind of have Wheeler come to his senses. That's really the way that this ends completely. So
Yeah.
they may still be hanging around doing Death Rider things, but I don't think they'll be holding the world title hostage anymore after All In.
Yeah, I don't need to be holding like the whole company
Whether
hostage after that.
whether it is Darby, whether it's Hangman Adam Page, or whether it's Will Ospreay, one of those three guys is walking out the world champion at the end of All In.
Yeah.
One of those three guys. And
Which
I'm okay
one is
with
an incredibly
literally
difficult
any of
decision?
them. Yeah, right. I'm okay with literally any of them. I have my preferences, but I'm okay with
yeah.
literally any of those choices. It's great to have those choices. It's a difficult choice to make. I mean, all three of them are over. All three of them would get great reactions if you do it right. Like there's no wrong answer here. There's just where you want to go afterwards that kind of determines who you want to put in that position.
Yeah. Like I would love to work on the booking committee at AEW, but this is definitely one of those times where I'm like, I'm glad I don't have to make that fucking decision.
Yeah.
I'm glad it ain't me.
For real.
Because I am over here already in that mindset going, which one is it? And then going, well, I mean, you can make a case for everybody. And then going,
you know how,
oh, fuck.
You know what I would do.
I know what you would do.
I just outlined what I would do. So.
But like, it's just like, that I am not envious of this decision, and I am 100% glad that I don't have to make it.
Yeah.
Just because it's hurting my brain a little bit, just trying to figure out who I think it will be. Because, like, I got a, like, pick 'em contests and stuff like that. And this is the first time where I'm like looking at the whole card and I go, all right, there we go. Got it. The main event comes and I'm like, oh.
And I think it will be the main event too, by the way. I think it will.
If they don't
the world title's not on the line. So
I hope Anarchy in the Arena is first.
Wouldn't that be great?
I would love for it to be first. Like, let's just get this shit out of the way and then go on about the card. Use this to hype your crowd. Don't give us like Blake Christian versus Kevin Knight, even though that's a great match. Give us Anarchy in the Arena to start. Do not do this to the women, because Tony and Mina needs to be right before Hangman and Will, and that needs to be at the end of the show.
Yeah.
So, and you need to, and if it's not Hangman and Will, it needs to be Mina and Tony.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not like super hyped for that match, that's one of those needs to be the main event of this upcoming pay-per-view.
Just based on how over Tony is, like she's Tony, and honestly, she's long overdue to main event one of these pay-per-views.
Yeah,
long. It should have been. I mean, given what we got between Cope and Mox, it should have been the Hollywood ending that ended that show, and they should have, and befitting of its main event placing, it should have been allowed to go on for another 10 minutes at least.
Yeah,
should have been structured to be as long as they wanted it to be.
The decision that Tony Khan will regret forever is probably that one, to not make that the main event of that show.
I don't know. I think he's got a lot bigger regrets than that.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm sure he does, but that's a big one. Especially if you're a wrestling fan. Like that's kind of like one of those. What is it? Like it's so big, it's precedential.
Yeah.
So
I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah. So now, I mean, we've gone over a lot of stuff, and we've kind of even spoiled some of our review here, talking about this women's titles match that is coming up. But I guess we should probably get to why that women's title match is coming up. and talk a little bit about Dynamite this week.
Beach break.
Yeah, this set of Beach Break shows. I don't ever really expect a lot from Beach Break. I find it like I don't know why they named the show Beach Break, and usually when there's a named show, something huge happens. But like this week, it was just like announcements mostly. It wasn't really.
I mean, I feel like Dynamite was a big show, but Collision wasn't.
Dynamite was way bigger than Collision,
Like,
and there was some important
bigger.
stuff on
they
Dynamite.
had a steel cage world title main event.
That
I mean, we'll talk about it,
Yeah.
but I mean, at least in terms of hype, I mean, the hype around this was big.
Yeah, the hype
was big. It was well done. In terms of getting people interested in it, the ratings came out and it proves that. You know, as much as we don't like to talk about ratings on the show, I mean, I'll bring it up only because it backs up the point that this was well built. People were interested in it.
Yeah.
Clearly. I know I was interested in it. My boy Samoa Joe, who is going to factor in later in this episode in an unrelated segment. I had no illusions that he was going to win. You know, I don't think that's much of a spoiler. Because we've already talked about Mox defending the belt and everything, but I feel like I was interested in seeing the match and seeing how it would go. So I mean, based on that alone, and even then, look at the rest of the card. You had the program with the short program with Ricochet being Prickochet. Zach Gowen making his return to wrestling on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You had the will they or won't they will with Osprey and Paige. You had a tag team title match and Max's answer. You had another eliminator 4-way that featured a hometown girl return, Mina's first official AEW roster match as a member of the main roster, and a highly touted Stardom competitor in Azumi making her first appearance in AEW. Like there was a lot to this show in terms of the build, like to garner interest. And I think for the most part, honestly, I think it hit it out of the park. For the most part.
Fair enough.
I mean, this opening match, man. This opening match. Like, they were doing. Honestly, the first thing I remember about this match is Hangman's entrance, because Will's already in the ring, and then it's one of those nuances that Paige is so good at. He goes over to a fan in the front row before he gets in the ring and signs his shirt, and then Will's all like, "Hey, look, guy, hey!" It's like it's commenting on him not doing like the top baby face, face of the company things that Osprey brought up last week. It's not admitting that he was doing wrong. It's not saying that he likes Osprey, but it's just like, okay, well, maybe there's a little bit of a point here, and maybe I could be doing more. But that doesn't mean I'm gonna give this guy the satisfaction of saying it to his face. Like, those little things that he's so good at. And that was before the match even started. Just a little character moment. And then the match happens, and it's freaking great because of course it is.
Yeah.
How could it not be?
That was really good.
Hangman Page, Will Ospreay, Josh Alexander, and Konosuke Takeshita. Like, what are we even like? How could that be bad in any reality?
I don't know, man.
In any reality.
And a lot of people have like kind of been like, oh, he just immediately took Josh Alexander and slotted him in with the Callis family. But my opinion on that is that all of those guys are high level performers. Every one of them. Rocky. I mean, you got everybody in the Don Callis family is a high level guy.
If you're in the Callis family, that means you're being positioned well.
Yeah. And so the fact that he's in there and now he's suddenly made a tag team with Konosuke Takeshita that looks like a veteran tag team, like guys that have been wrestling together forever, and
somehow
also performing on the same level as those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this might be the right spot for him. Period.
Yeah,
He's right where he should
sure.
be.
I mean, at least right now, I mean, who knows what the landscape of AEW is going to look in like in a couple of years? There are always
Yeah.
going to be injuries. There are always going to be people who leave, and you can slide different people into those slots of the people that leave and create opportunities for them. You just have to be on the lookout for them. I mean, this he's a former TNA World Champion. He's a former multiple time TNA World Tag Team Champion with Ethan Page as the North. Great tag team from all accounts. I've heard great things about them, and I believe it because I like Ethan Page and I've liked what I've seen from Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
So like, I it's I feel like this is a good spot for him. He's on TV all the time now. He doesn't have to cut promos if he doesn't want to because Callis will do that for him.
Yep.
You know, and he can just go out and do the cool stuff that he does, like the splash to the guy sitting on the apron. I love that spot. That's one of my favorite spots of his matches, honestly. um I mean, he had some cool amateur, like, counters and stuff in this match to try to. I think at one point, what was it? I think he got Page in the ankle lock at some point after doing some weird ankle pick thing that I'd never seen before. Like,
Yeah.
like the dude's legit. And then but like even then, like that wasn't the story. The story of the match was like the two times where Osprey and Hangman nearly hit each other with their finishers,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like the tension, like you can just hear the slash shippers just typing furiously at their keyboards. It's like, oh my gosh, it's like kiss,
Oh God.
like, and that, especially that hidden blade one, because it was so close to his chest, so close to his clavicle. Like, oh, they're just staring burning holes into each other. I think uh the only downside to this match was I wouldn't have had the baby faces go over because I don't think they needed it. You
Yeah.
can sell the discord between the two of them. I mean, it makes neither one of them take a loss going into the show. It makes, both of them look strong, and I understand the need for that because it's genuinely a toss up as to who is going to be winning that match. And maybe that adds to the mystery more if they win than if they lose. I don't know. I will say that if they had to win, doing Hidden Blade Buckshot Lariat combo was awesome. I think that was a great way to end the match if they had to win. But I would have had the baby faces lose here, and then like maybe this week have them get back at those guys individually or something like that. I don't know, but uh, that's a minor complaint, really. The match was great.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah, I thought it was good. The tension spots, especially. And then I don't know. I don't think they hit that last combo as flush as they wanted to. Really, I think it was a little
I
bit
mean,
off.
I
But
don't know how they could.
yeah, it like
Like
seems like a really awkward
it's
set of moves to put together.
well, you've got both people trying to charge the same part of a third person's body.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna get in each other's way. It's
Yeah.
just gonna happen. There's no two ways around it.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I
So
thought I thought it came off as well as it could have.
but I don't think it could come off like great. I mean, just
Yeah,
like like
you
it
know.
just it's just the general nature of it all. I was like in my head, like trying to figure out arm positioning and stuff, like how it could be better than it was. And I was like, there's just not a way. It's just not gonna look real good, no matter how you do
I
it.
mean, they could have come at him from one from the front and one from the back and cut his head off like a pair of scissors,
Yeah,
I
but then they would
suppose.
have hit each other.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
yeah, like Hangman would have clotheslined Osprey, or Hangman would have caught a collateral a collateral hidden blade. Like, oh, what do you call that? The double assassination, maybe, I
Or
guess.
maybe have I bet at least Takeshita could probably take a buckshot lariat, do an inside out bump, and land on his feet, but do like the drunken dizzy thing, only to be met with a hidden blade after.
Yeah.
But doing it at the same time means that you're not saying one of those finishes is better than the other, you
Hmm.
know. And if you want them to be on even keel, then
Yeah.
then probably the best thing to do would have been to do it at the same time, even if the angle, maybe shoot it from a different angle,
Yeah. I
so
don't
we
think it
can
was a good
see
angle they were
how
shooting it
yeah,
from either. Because you just kind of were
yeah,
like staring at the back of Josh's back or Takeshita's
yeah.
back and just like, what's going on here? And then suddenly two guys are on the other side of him. You know,
Maybe if they
like
had done it from the overhead camera,
that would have probably
I
been
think that would have
better,
been a cool
actually.
shot.
Yeah.
That would have been a cool shot too.
Yeah.
Like, have they ever ended? Have they ever ended the match with the guy taking the three from the overhead camera?
I don't know. Maybe?
Like, I think that they probably prefer to, for you to see the face of the winner as they're getting the pin.
Yeah.
But I think an overhead shot of the pin itself live, I think that would be kind of neat. I think it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
after the match, Takeshita beats the crap out of him, but or tries to, but Osprey ducks under, hits a Snapdragon suplex of all things, and then accidentally hits Paige with a rolling elbow, which Hangman just kind of shrugs off, but is really, really pissed about it.
Yeah.
And then they start kind of going at it, and then they get pulled apart. Um, Match number two, Ricochet versus Zach Gowen,
Oh, man.
which was so much better than it had any right to be. Um, like Gowen is just, I've seen him live, like, and he's I mean, what comes across on TV is exactly what comes across live. It's the same thing, and it's amazing. Like, you think, how can this work? And he makes it work
Yeah.
despite his disability. It's amazing. It's really truly inspiring, and I mean, it's supposed to be. Um, I thought Ricochet did an excellent job of balancing being a douchebag bully with making Zach look good. Like, he hit him with like three finishers before the dude went down. Like, Zach Gallen, the one-legged guy, would not stay down, which is his entire thing, and it's
Yeah.
appropriate for the story that they're telling, and it was the right call to have Zach look tough before losing. And I thought it made for a great little story. Like, it was never something that was going to stretch out over like weeks and lead up to a pay-per-view match, but as a one spot to shine a light on, give Zach some shine and shine a light on his charity work and stuff like that. I thought it was a great thing,
Yeah.
honestly.
Um, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, you seen one Zach Gowen match,
Yeah,
but I mean, that's not like, I mean, he's putting on a good match. It's not a bad match just
yeah.
because it's the same match. It's just with different
It's
people, and
like it's like AC/DC. They say, I mean, all of their songs sound the same, but
yeah,
that one song that they sing and they play kicks ass.
yeah.
So like, it doesn't matter.
Mm. So, good match. It was a good match. I think the fallout, like, so, I guess just a really seriously short program. Um, as I predicted, the only person that got lit up with that leg is Ricochet.
Yeah.
So that I kind of expected that. I didn't expect Mark Briscoe to make the save.
Yeah.
I wasn't really aware that they had much of a history together.
Me
Um,
neither.
but
I
I
wish I
think,
wish they had established that like in like a 30-second promo before the match.
yeah,
Be like
something.
like, "Hey Mark, it's great to see you. Yeah, man, the word of the day is perseverance. Go out there and persevere or whatever.
Yeah.
Like something to establish that they had been buddies for a while.
Yeah.
Because then this would have made a little bit more sense. Not that I'm sad or upset to see Mark Briscoe. I'm never upset or sad to see Mark Briscoe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it would have made a little bit more sense if they had, done like that. Like just shave 30 seconds off the match and put it into a promo beforehand.
Yeah. Um the fallout of which, though, I mean, Mark Briscoe makes the save, and now we've got Mark Briscoe and Ricochet in a stretcher match at Double or Nothing.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
I am too,
I'm
actually.
wondering why though. Why the stretcher gimmick? Like I it, they didn't have heat until this moment, and usually if you're
This is like a
feuding with
three.
somebody,
This is like a third match type shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Like it seems like you gotta think, okay, they've got some kind of plan going on here to further this thing. Either they're gonna do something really weird and unknown with the stretcher, or like I don't know. Something weird is gonna happen. I think it's gonna. I don't think this is the last time that these two are gonna meet.
No.
I think they'll probably repeat it all in some kind of even bigger gimmick match. But like the stretcher thing throws me. It's like, why the stretcher gimmick?
Yeah.
I
Like
just like if you wanna make the connection with Zach Gowen, he's an amputee, and he can't walk but on crutches, but you can't have a crutch match, so let's do a stretcher. It's really really stretching. Like
yeah.
RVD couldn't do that kind of stretching.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's fine though. The match will be good. It's Mark Briscoe and Ricochet. Of course, it'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be good. So I'm looking forward to that one. Next we got MJF is backstage with Renee Paquette, and she's asking him about what it would mean for him to be in the Hurt Syndicate and to get his thumbs up. And then what, and he said, he plays to win. He's trying to get his triple B back and all that. And that basically it would become an inevitability that he would get it back if he became a member of the Hurt Syndicate. But then she asked him if he thought about what would happen if they turned him down. And as he's trying to answer, here's the Hurt Syndicate, and they say, it is imperative that you join us after our match. So that was pretty much the whole thing. Like it's,
Yeah.
he's gonna have to. But then they go out. Was this where we had? Was it after this that we had? Because I don't have it in my notes, but I know we had a Top Flight promo that was not very good.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was here.
Dante needs to calm down and talk slower. I know you're angry, but you need to figure out a way to convey that in a more decisive tone, because once you started into that rant of 17 different bad names that you called MJF, I stopped being able to understand you fully. And Darius stepping in made it better because I could understand everything he was saying, and he was enunciating and spacing everything out enough where you knew what was happening. It wasn't just like an angry tirade of, verbal vomit. So it made it better, but at the same time, like, I don't know if you noticed, but Layla Gray stole my attention, and not in a good way, because she was like mouthing the same words that Darius was saying and making like gestures behind him, and it
I
completely
didn't
stole my
notice.
focus.
No, this is like the one time I didn't notice her because she was actually wearing like non-revealing clothes for once. Sorry, I'm a I-
I'm a guy.
I don't want to be that guy, but I'm that guy. I'm sorry.
I'm a guy.
Um,
I
but
can tell
yeah,
you what
like
she was wearing
she
at
was
least.
like
But
she her attire didn't catch my eye, so she didn't.
yeah,
So I was able to more give more focus to what they were saying, And I mean, it was basic stuff. I mean, they should feel that way that they feel. Like they got jobbed out to one guy, and they're supposed to be taken seriously in this tag title match.
Yeah,
They got jobbed out to MJF, and yeah, it was a sneak attack, and
yeah.
yeah, he used that stupid ring, and yeah, like he bladed to put it over, but like this is a dedicated tag team of brothers, and they got jobbed out by one guy
Yeah.
in about 2 minutes on the outside of the ring while they were making a tag team title challenge. Poor Top Flight. Like this is not Top Flight's decision. This is not a knock on Top Flight. This is just poor booking. Like this is one of your most consistent tag teams that always gets a reaction, especially Dante. And like I feel like they they you could have put them in Private Party's spot when they won the title, and it wouldn't have been any different, save for the fact that Private Party had that one match that they beat the Young Bucks in to hang their hat on to fuel that a little bit further. But it would have, other than that, it would have worked just as well with Top Flight because they were in the same kind of position, kind of underdog babyface tag team that everybody really enjoys watching. They just needed a chance. I mean, it could interchangeable in terms of how they are perceived.
Yeah.
Um, the the only difference here is that Private Party, before their mysterious months long absence now, but after they got beat up and had their title taken by the Hurt Syndicate, was that the booking was better for them. They looked like an actual championship caliber team. Whereas even though everybody loves Top Flight, they're just booked to lose all the damn time.
Yeah. Um, I don't understand this part, man. This is the part that I don't get. Private Party gets a World Tag Team Championship, and Top Flight gets jobbed out like their local talent.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it's
like if they haven't paid their
disgusting.
dues by now, like come on. Like is TK um hesitant to pull the trigger because Darius is proven to be kind of, I mean, I hate to use the phrase injury prone because it makes it seem like they're doing it on purpose. It's like, oh, he's prone to injury. Oh, he's got a brittle body. It's like it's not like he's choosing to do this.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a deficiency in his moral character. Like stuff happens in wrestling.
Yeah.
Like nobody can control how nobody can control how hard your bones are. Like, come on. You can drink all the milk in the world, and you're still gonna get a broken bone on occasion in wrestling. I wouldn't. It's as close to an inevitability as you can get without it being inevitable.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't know. And the booking here against the Hurt Syndicate didn't really do them any favors. They looked kind of strong in the opening minute or so, but it was quickly turned around, and this was probably the shortest defense of the World Tag Team title that the Hurt Syndicate has put in. The match itself it wasn't long. It
Mm-mm.
was fine, but like it wasn't really as good a showcase for Top Flight as it could have been. This was all about the Hurt Syndicate, and
Yeah.
it was all about making them dominant, and they should be looking dominant. But there's
Yeah.
a way that you can achieve both of those things, and this chose the way that he chose to go here was not it. Um, but yeah, Lashley gets Dante in the Hurt Lock, and just after spearing him into oblivion.
Yeah.
And Darius tries to make the save, but Benjamin catches him with that insane super kick of his. Dante's out, you know, by I guess you would call it technical submission,
Mm-mm.
uh, or TK, or maybe a technical knockout, depending because he was passed out.
Yeah.
At least he didn't have him tap.
Fair.
At least he passed out.
Yeah.
After the match though, Lashley keeps the Hurt Lock on, and out of nowhere, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, who had been in that promo with them and said good luck to them and everything. So it wasn't like this wasn't kind of foreshadowed ahead of time, but I don't know why they like Top Flight so much. Like out of the blue, who cares? Doesn't matter. They make their way to the ring and tell them to stop it, and they do. But then Crew comes out. You know what I don't like about Crew
Everything.
is no. Actually, I like most of their
It's not.
presentation. I actually do like most of their presentation. But if they're gonna come out and do this interruption thing, they need either a shorter intro to their song, or they need to start the song later in the track because like the intro goes on forever. And it's like you're waiting for like the main part of the song to kick in, and then they come out, and it's like those like 12 seconds or whatever it takes is an eternity. Um, and that's not Crew's fault. That's just like a little bit of editing could probably just solve that problem really quickly. um, you have enough audio experience now to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
from doing this podcast for less than a year.
Yeah, I definitely would have made it shorter.
Yeah. I actually like the theme, but like it seems like it just takes forever to get going. So when you're doing the interference thing, it's like, okay, where are they? I was like, I gotta wait for their music. Okay, where are they? you know.
It's like Jeff Hardy dancing down the ramp to save his brother.
Yes, yes. But yeah, Crew's here, and they don't respect their elders, and MVP says, "Okay, well, y'all both have kind of a claim here. So how about you two settle it in the ring, and whoever wins faces us at Double or Nothing." So they do that. They set that up for Collision. It's one of the two matches that we didn't see. Well, I didn't see. um, but MVP does this really, really cool thing to transition. He's like, hey, there's a producer over here who's telling me we have 30 seconds left before we go to commercial. So he takes the opportunity to speak directly at the viewing eye and say, stick around, because when we get back, we're going to have MJF in the ring. We're going to give him his answer. So basically doing the desk commentator's job for them.
They need to do this more.
I think so too.
They need to do this more.
Acknowledge that they're on TV.
Yeah,
That's
acknowledge you're on TV. Throw to commercial more so we don't just get like thrown into a commercial. First of all,
yeah.
But yeah, they need to do this more.
I think I thought it was a great decision. I don't know whose idea it was. Maybe it was Tony's. Maybe it was MVP's. I don't care. Whoever just made that decision, I thought it was inspired. I thought it was great. And like you said, they need to do that more often, or play around with different ways of kicking it to commercial. Maybe not just repeat this over and over until that gets tired.
Yeah.
We come back from commercial, and MVP's MJF isn't in the ring. So MVP is like, I'm gonna send Shelton to get you. So he goes out to freaking Gorilla, and you see at the desk are Tony Khan and Jerry Lynn and Sanjay Dutt.
Mm-hmm.
And Sanjay's just minding his business.
It looked like he was actively trying to avoid the camera.
Yeah. Jerry Lynn is rolling his eyes, and TK is standing up with the biggest grin on his face, like a kid in a candy store, saying, he's over here. He's over here. And then Max pops up like he's Punxsutawney Phil. It's like, oh, hey, guys, I didn't see you there. Oh, are we going out to the ring? That's a great idea. Like,
I was just going to suggest we do that.
Such entertaining stuff. Like, it's really difficult. Like, I understand why people want to cheer him, because he's so entertaining. Like, you have to, kind of constantly remind yourself That's like, okay, he's being booked as a heel for a reason. It's because he's a scumbag. And you shouldn't, I don't care about this, he's our scumbag. Like, why do you want to like a scumbag? That speaks more about you. It speaks more to you as a fan and the content of your character than it does about MJF.
Well, see, what I think it is the tendency to like man, that guy's making fun of somebody and that's wrong, but he's hilarious and he's not making fun of me.
Yeah.
It's like that.
No.
Like
what I'm saying is like this is a guy who's done like who's never atoned or apologized for anything.
It'd be out of
And
character
like,
for him to do so.
but that's the thing. Characters grow and learn and change. If you're gonna be a babyface, and I'm not talking about like an anti-hero, like he could probably be an anti-hero, but like a babyface, like he has to grow and learn and change. And maybe apologize to that his prom date. Like instead of, bragging that he framed her for a drunken car accident. I remember that.
Well,
That was right after he beat Bryan Danielson. It's like, this is what I did. And people were cheering him. Like, why are you cheering this guy?
that's them, not
Why?
him.
I do not get it. He was trying his damnedest to be booed, and all you want to do is like, yeah, screw that chick. Like, what? I don't.
You got me.
I
Man.
love our listeners, but I can almost guarantee that probably a good percentage of them probably do not feel the same way I do, and that is absolutely you're right. I just don't understand it.
Well,
I don't.
I mean, I don't like. People can cheer him all they want. He's not a babyface.
No, he's not. He's a scumbag.
But he's funny. So
Yeah.
And
the only reason people
that's why people cheer him, because he's funny.
Yeah. The only reason that people are booing him anymore is if he's placed opposite a bigger, somebody they like more.
Yeah.
So like if he's placed opposite a Will Ospreay, like we'll get to in a minute, if he's placed opposite a Hangman Adam Page, they're of course they're gonna boo him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But there aren't that many guys who are on that level of we like him more than we think he's funny.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's why we had.
I honestly, I think he'd split the crowd even if he went up against Swerve. Honestly,
maybe Swerve, but not like not Hangman, not Will. Like
No.
you think about it. I mean, like before, when he was champion, or right around the time he became champion, the faces that they put up against him were, Darby and CM Punk and people who had to be they had to be who they were for him to get booed in those situations.
Yeah.
And that's how it's going to be for pretty much every feud he has. Like, if that person that he's feuding with is not more popular than he is, he's going to get cheered.
Yeah.
And, it's just, the problem with that is that might not be what Tony intends and might not be the reaction that he needs to continue with the booking that he's doing.
Right.
We got it. He's at this point, he has to get, but there's going to be people that, and it's a lesser so with the prom date thing, this is just a lesser version of the Chris Benoit theory, which if for those of you who are not familiar with the theory itself, it is that, it's been proven on many, 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 many levels. I don't know if it's a theory so much as it is a
it's a theory in like the scientific sense, not the colloquial sense.
Yeah, in the colloquial sense, it's proven. But
yeah,
it is that the better a wrestler somebody is, the more abhorrent shit we will forgive.
Yeah.
Chris Benoit was one of the greatest of all time. People still talk about putting him in the fucking Hall of Fame despite him killing his wife and child.
Yeah.
All because of how
I,
good of a wrestler he was. They were willing to forgive that. Now, I'm not. Don't get
me
this
neither.
misconstrued,
Me
people. I
neither.
am not that guy, okay? And I'm not even going to editorialize on that any further than I am not arguing for him
Yeah.
to be in the Hall of Fame. I think Paul Heyman said it best. If you don't know what he said, go look up Paul
Go
Heyman
look
on
it
Chris
up.
Benoit. But this is just a lower level of that. It's we're forgiving this abhorrent prom date shit because he's really a fantastic wrestler, and that's kind of the thing. Now, is that always in the back of my mind that like he admitted on national television to be a horrible person? Yes. Did it really happen? Not sure.
Probably not.
Probably not.
I'm guessing not.
I'm guessing no.
I had somebody, I can't even remember who, say that he might have ripped that off from like some reality show or something like that. Like that was something that was in somebody's confessional or something like that.
Maybe.
And
Hopefully,
he just
you
ripped it
know.
off.
But
I mean, hopefully, but also not hopefully, because that also means that might have actually happened to somebody
yeah, I mean, I
in
don't
real
wish that on
life.
anybody,
That sucks.
but
But
it's like it that's the thing though. Is like he's funny and he's good at wrestling and people
yeah.
are willing to
Oh
overlook
yeah,
some
he
shit
absolutely
because of
is.
how funny and good at wrestling he is.
I just, yeah, I would find it more palatable if before the next time they turn him face, which is an inevitability because these people will not stop cheering him, and they're going to run out of people who are more popular than he is funny.
Yeah.
They're going to run out. There's a finite amount of people who are on that level.
Yeah.
Um, I just hope that he finds a way to make it so the character can still retain its true essence while still having the ability to grow as a person into somebody that could be likable and could show a little contrition and a little remorse for some of the stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
Like, even Swerve, not that long ago said that he feels that he deserved for Hanger to burn down his house because of what he did to the man. Even Swerve is growing and changing, and not he's not changing the core aspect of himself. He's still a huge badass. He still carries himself like the most dangerous guy in the company. He still has that aura about him. He still carries himself like the biggest star in the company. And no, and if anything, people love him more for the admission, you know, because we've talked about it before. It's been discussed on Blue Sky. I think by Amy Nemedy is where I first saw it pop up. But like, what determines a babyface from a heel in AEW, at least in this context, this company's context, is how sincere you are. If you do not come off as sincere, and if the fans feel like you're putting on airs and you're not, the character isn't being committed to the fullest extent, they're not going to get behind it, and they're not going to cheer you. But even if you do awful, awful things, but you are committed to your character and you don't lie to the audience about it, they're still probably going to cheer you. Or at the very least, if they boo you from the outset, there's a pretty good chance of a quick redemption. This is why the Death Rider thing is working the way it's working. Is that like Moxley is a hypocrite. He's become a hypocrite where he wasn't before. He is now a hypocrite who talks about like this isn't really a spoiler because it was just the promo, but on Collision he cuts a promo about this tirade backstage about being a professional and professionals get things done, and we Joe thought he was big and bad and everything like that. It's like he's saying the exact opposite of what happened, and he's saying the exact opposite of the truth. He is being a complete hypocrite, and that's one of the reasons that he's actually getting booed, is because he has become somebody who is not sincere and who is not authentic. And the crowd, because this is how this crowd and this audience determines who to cheer for and who to boo, that's why they're booing him, is because he's no longer somebody who is true to themselves and true to the audience. He is somebody who is putting on airs and making up lies and being an obvious liar about it too. A completely obvious liar.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even hidden. It is so blatant.
Yeah.
So I mean, in on the one hand, like the Death Riders thing, to a degree, like it's long worn on its welcome, but to a degree, maybe that's the only way that somebody like Moxley could get booed,
Yeah.
and maybe that's what they wanted and what they needed, and maybe you know our collective frustration with it was the intended plan as a kind of a different, less orthodox way of getting heat.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so I just I don't know. I don't think that MJF is gonna get booed anytime soon.
No,
And
especially since he got the thumbs up in this
yeah,
segment.
now he's got the thumbs up. So yeah,
Even Bobby Lashley gave him the thumbs up.
and
He teased it for a long
he did
time
too.
too. And
Shelton was even like
Max's.
lining him up and everything
Oh, I
too,
was like,
man. Like I was
like
literally thinking we were gonna get the thumbs down because Shelton was like, "I'm about to kick him."
I was,
you know, like,
I was thinking that he was gonna get the thumbs up, but when Shelton was lining up, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm wrong here.
yeah,
But because he looked like he wanted to so bad
yeah.
to kick MJF's teeth
Like
right
he's
down his
funny, but I
throat.
like kicking people, so like
He does, and he does it well.
yeah,
But yeah, and MJF was great here. He sold every emotion with that cartoonish energy that he brings that I enjoy. Like, I enjoy his work, but I'm
yeah,
not going to cheer for him. That's the thing. I'm not going to cheer for him. I'm going to enjoy the work, but it's like Ricochet. Ricochet, for a different reason. Ricochet is a bit of a prick in real life. We've gone over this. It's why he's not going to be featured in the Call in the Ring segment, which you'll find out about in a little bit.
not by me
You'll get
either. So
context for that later. Otherwise, he would be. I will say that if he wasn't such an a hole in real life, he would be on. He would be discussed. But um, yeah, yeah, like it's his in ring work is and his heel work is undeniable. Like it's absolutely entertaining. I
yeah,
just wish it was going. I would just wish it was being utilized by somebody who was either a better person or was better at hiding how bad a person they were.
yeah,
Ignorance is bliss.
yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, he gets the thumbs up and they walk out and we heard people, we heard people, we heard people. And then match number 4.
yeah. We got the
Ah,
women's championship eliminator 4-way with Tony Storm, Azumi. Is that how you say it?
yes,
Okay.
Azumi.
Mina
It's
Shirakawa and
stylized
Sky
as
Blue.
AZM, but
Yeah,
yeah. Sky Blue had a really, really great look
yeah.
for her comeback. Uh, Mina had her new song that immediately got changed.
Because it's terrible.
Uh,
Uh,
it's
it was
okay.
no,
It's fine, but it's not better than what she had.
no. What she had was way better. And
What she had was better. It was better. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying it was better. The new one, I mean it. You know what they should do is they gave Mina a pre-tape interview promo spot on Collision.
yeah,
If they had done that first while playing the new song in the background, it wouldn't have been as jarring and immediately jumped upon
yeah,
in this spot, you know? Just a little misstep. But I honestly, I mean, I think people way overreacted.
Yeah.
I mean, they overreacted to such a degree that Tony Khan changed it by the end of the match.
I don't know.
Like,
Based on his tweets, he looked like he wanted to change it too. So just the way he
maybe.
worded things, I was like, oh, so he didn't like it either. You know, like, what do you mean you didn't hear it first, dog? Like you put it on your show and you didn't hear it? Like, I mean, I've seen wrestling companies do that and regret it later. Like, hey, what track on the CD is your thing? Oh, and they don't listen to it first.
Well, you know what? I say use the track, but pull a 1996 Mankind situation.
Like one and then the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And make it so that the one that everybody likes is the one that they hear for the entrance, so that they always hear that one.
Yeah.
At least, whether she wins or loses, they always hear that one.
Yeah. And then they can hear, if she wins, they'll hear the other one, and then maybe they'll get used to it over time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was jarring. I think that was my problem with it. I was like, this isn't Mina's theme song. What the?
Yeah.
Like I don't really know it by heart, but this isn't it. You know, like.
You know what? Even simple thing they might have changed if they turned out all the lights for like 5 seconds beforehand.
Yeah.
You know, build up the anticipation for it, and then like, you know, Mina now, and then go into the new one. I think even that little change would have primed the audience that something was different, something was new, and I think it wouldn't have gone over like a lead balloon like it did.
Yeah.
Even if you make that small change in the presentation, at least initially.
But yeah.
But that didn't have any impact on how good the match was.
No,
the
match was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was everything I expected out of 3 of the 4. I didn't know much about Azumi coming in, but
yeah, I
know she beat Mercedes for the NJPW Strong Women's Championship, which less titles for Mercedes is always okay with me. So, so I was like, okay, well, she beat Mercedes. They got something going on there. I thought it was a really great match.
Yeah,
I wasn't too hype on the aftermatch stuff for this one. Just because, like, how come, like, I know it's psychology, blah blah, but why is it always got to be Jamie Hayter that suffers from this particular psychology where she is always the one that doesn't get to hit her opponent before the match? Like, why is it always poor Jamie Hayter that never, like, that's why when she actually gets into a match, it looks like she's beating the shit out of her opponent because they managed to book it where she does not get to touch anybody beforehand.
Well, it makes it more satisfying when she does.
I mean, I get it. I like I said, I get the psychology of it, but it's like it always seems like it's like poor Jamie. It seems like it's always her that ends up getting that specific short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Like and honestly, man, like leave Athena out of it. Maybe Athena just makes a post-match appearance. Maybe Jamie Hayter climbs in that ring for her Owen final with Mercedes Moné and uncorks that freaking clothesline immediately, and it's just over.
No, it won't be over after.
No, I know it won't, but
no, she'll need to up it. And she'll need to do the awesome springboard version.
Oh yeah.
That's what she needs to end it with.
Yeah.
She needs to end it with the springboard one because as soon as she popped that open on Billy Starks, I'm like, she should do this all the time. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But now I think she's gonna just save it as like a super finish.
Yeah.
Like her version of the Avalanche attitude adjustment.
There you go.
Know.
But yeah. So yeah, like I said, I wasn't like super into the post match stuff because I mean it was just kind of the same thing playing over again from the last couple weeks. But
yeah,
the match itself, fantastic. Mina getting the win couldn't have fucking told me that's what was going to happen. Oh yeah, of course Tony's going to win this. She's had like 2 of these. She's won them. Yeah. You know, like she's a dominant champion. But
it does throw. I mean, you know, my idea of doing how to introduce the tag belts is completely out the window now. So
yeah,
that's fine. It's fine because you know it doesn't matter whether Mina wins or loses here. The fact of the matter is that Toni Storm is I mean, they're not. It does because Tony's not going to lose, but the fact that Tony has an opponent that she's not going to lose, like if it was Megan Bayne in a rematch, I would be fairly certain that Tony would be dropping the belt.
Hmm.
But to literally anybody else before All In, no,
No.
no. So she won't be freed up for a tag title thing. So, oh well, it's
I
fine.
um like this
You know what
this
it
co-
does? That leaves it open for Willow and Stat if they can ever get on the same page.
That's true. But what I mean, I hope Willow's headed towards her first AEW's World's Heavyweight Champ, World Women's Championship, but um, and soon. But this begs the question, though. It's Mina at next week at Double or Nothing. We're gonna get like one set of go home shows of this
Yeah.
being the case, so
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of time to heat it up, but
But there is
can they
prior history
forego?
between the two.
Well, can
So
they forego the heating up of it because we're gonna see Mariah May on Sunday? Just because of the nature of the two specific people in the match. I mean, it's
um
these two.
I'd be okay with Mariah showing back up if she was facing Mina. I don't want to retread. I don't want her to touch Tony. They had their perfect ending. Let it be. I know in Hollywood we often do nothing but sequels anymore, but I feel like this doesn't need a sequel, and that Mariah May should just go on to do other things, regardless of whether she's staying in AEW or moving on to WWE at the end of her contract. Um, I think that if she is leaving, her putting Mina over would be really nice, be
Yeah,
really good. On the way out, do the honors. Um, yeah, I mean, but as far as like, I don't want Mariah May near this because it's too close to Tony. Like, if she gets too close to Tony, then Tony's gonna have to get involved, and I don't want that. I don't want that retread. I don't want leave the memories alone. You know, like, just let us have that. It was perfect. It was perfect. Don't sully that. Um, but yeah, like I feel like if she's gonna get involved, you know, having her do something with Mina on the way out, or even if she's not on the way out, having put Mina over, because Mina's not winning the belt. So, um, the least that she can do is give her a kind of a rebound win.
yeah.
Uh, on the way back to Azumi was being helped back to, and Mercedes attacks her. We kind of touched on it, but Mercedes attacked her,
Yeah.
uh, put her in a save and make her on the ramp. Hater comes down to make the save. Um, and we go to the thing that made us cry.
Oh
Uh,
God.
Taz was there, and he obviously much of his career was kind of connected at the hit to Sabu. Uh, so he had a really, really, you could see that he was fighting back tears like the entire time.
Yeah.
It was, and that kind of thing. If you have any kind of heart, any kind of empathy in your soul whatsoever, that kind of stuff is infectious.
Yeah.
So like, I'm here, like, just like, no, no, don't.
I watched it the
um,
first time live, and
mhm.
then I watched it again like Friday night with Katie,
Yeah,
and I cried both times. So
yeah.
yeah.
It was affecting. It
It
was
was.
affecting.
It was.
Uh, backstage, MJF again. He's all over this freaking show. Um, but he's there with Renee, and he's there with MVP. And MVP says that next week there's going to be a contract signed. He's going to officially sign his contract with the Hurt Business. And MJF is like, "Oh, well, hang on. I've got my lawyer here, and Smart Mark Sterling, who again, canonically is on retainer for MJF.
Yeah.
This is just going back into the lore and reviving things, which is one of the things I absolutely adore about AEW. They don't forget that kind of stuff. Um, but like MVP is like, what, a lawyer? What are you talking about? Don't you trust me? It's like, hey, you're a businessman. Would you sign any contract without your lawyer looking it over first? And MVP relents. He's like, okay, yeah, you know what, you're right. So we'll see you next week. So shenanigans are gonna happen.
Oh yeah, there's gonna
On
be something in
Dynamite.
that contract, one way
There's
or
either
the other.
one way or the other. Either the contract is going to have something put in it by MVP where he gets more, where he gets more money or something like that, or maybe Bobby Lashley snuck something in there where MJF has to wear a dress or something. I don't know, or the terms of the contract are not going to be up to MJF's liking, and he's going to want more out of it, and he's going to have Mark Sterling rewrite the thing so that MVP gets pissed off about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Um, Either way, I think him being a part of the Hurt Syndicate is a very, very temporary thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it is too.
Tony Schiavone's in the ring with
With
Nigel
Nigel.
McGuinness, who welcomes Danny Garcia to the ring to apologize. Uh,
Danny tells him
Nigel
very
won.
politely to stick it.
Yeah, and we mean that. He did that actually pretty politely.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's like, hey, you don't need to apologize to me because you did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
No apology necessary. Um, Stokely's here. Stoke does as his namesake and stokes the fires to get under Nigel's skin.
He telegraphed hard when a heel manager says they're not here. They are there assuredly.
They absolutely are there. Do not believe that.
Yeah, never believe a
that.
word Stokely says. If he says FTR is not there, they're behind you.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. So he's like, the actions have consequences, and Nigel's punishment should be getting into the ring with FTR. And Nigel's like, I don't know. I'm not. He pulled his best Terry Funk. I'm not a wrestler anymore. And even though Terry Funk was always a wrestler, even when he was never wrestling, in between those like 57 retirement matches.
I can count on I don't have enough fingers and toes to count the amount of times I heard him in the backstage of an event go, I could go out there and do something. You need me to throw a right hand. I think I could get her done. He's like 80 and he's got a walker and shit, and his wife's like helping him even with the walker, and he's like, I could probably do a right hand, Jack.
The allure of his mistress, Lady Wrestling.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, FTR, they come out and they beat the crap out of him, but Daddy Magic is here with a tire iron to make the save. You wanted to make sure FTR got a taste.
A taste. You want a taste?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, and then cage match. Samoa Joe versus Jon Moxley. And this was kind of disappointing.
I thought so too, man.
Not because of the result. The result was kind of
no. I knew what the result was going to be. It just wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, man.
The second half kicked it into gear.
Yeah,
the second half really did, but the first half was really slow and plodding for a cage match.
Yeah, it sure walked a fucking roundabout trail to get to that second half, didn't it?
Yeah, I found myself like getting bored, and I hate that. I hate that admission, because this was the biggest detriment of the show. I think this was the biggest downer of the show.
Yeah,
I was really hyped for this match, and then it didn't kick into third gear until 3/4 of the way through the match, and then it was really good. even with all the interference at the end,
Yeah.
I thought it was stuff that made sense and was well done and set up, some
Yeah.
awesome stuff. But like, the match was, before the commercial break was just basic. And I'm like, these two guys were going in there talking about killing each other, and this is just a match
They
so
just
far.
didn't kill each other. Nobody died.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that nobody died.
Well, the
I mean,
problem with two guys
eventually,
going, "I will kill you," is that
is you gotta
neither of
deliver
them are
on
going to
that.
die unless it's accidental. Like
Yeah,
so.
you gotta deliver on the violence
Yeah,
if the
you got to at least
stakes are
try.
that high.
You got to catch at least a
Now
couple of
eventually,
attempted murder charges if you're going to tell me
yeah,
you're going to kill that guy. You better throw him off the top
eventually,
of the cage, or wrap
yeah,
his neck in barbed wire, or stuff that don't act
yeah.
like I'm saying anything out of ordinary. All of the things, all of the above have happened. So, like, don't tell me that like
Why were there
attempted
rope
murder isn't
breaks?
normal. What?
Why were there rope breaks for submissions? I hated it. Like, I
Unless
hated it.
Tony specifically told that referee to do that, that was a fuck up on that referee's part.
Yeah,
A
I was
major fuck up. Like, and I'm pretty
like,
sure, like, when he broke that hold, that Moxley was like, "Fuck, did you do that for?"
yeah,
He had a look on
there's
his face
no
like that. Why did you do that? This is a fucking cage match. And even
there are
Joe
no
had that look on his face.
disqualifications. Yeah, there are no disqualifications
Yeah,
in a cage match. So, like, why would there be a rope break?
yeah. And
That doesn't make
folks,
any damn sense.
that's not me being like I'm a really great referee. I am, first of all, but that's not me tooting my own horn. I've made that exact same fucking mistake, and that's how I know it's a mistake. Because
Yeah,
I did a rope break in a ladder match. Okay.
yeah,
Stupid mistake. But the general environment of a ladder match is that it's no DQ. The environment of a cage match is that anything goes on in there, anything goes in there,
yeah.
and it keeps and the cages theoretically, even though less and less
Theoretically,
lately, is supposed to keep everything outside.
yeah,
But that is a no disqualification match in there, which is why when shenanigans happen in cage matches, it doesn't end the match in a DQ because it's a no disqualification. So
yeah,
I believe, in my mind, based on the look on the faces of the wrestlers after that rope break happened, that was
yeah,
a mistake on the referee's part.
yeah. It was bad. Like, it was. I, I I I get trying to reach for the ropes. It's like, oh, I'm not used to cage match. The reason to crawl for the ropes and to grab the ropes in this position is so the referee can say, I'm not going to break that. There's no DQ in this situation. It's for him to remind the wrestler and the
Yeah,
audience that that anything goes. Now, if you want to like reach through the rope so that you can kind of climb up the rope so you can break the hold that way, I thought that would have been a great way to do it.
yeah,
But that's not what happened. Um yeah, lots of just shenanigans towards the, like I said, towards the end it did get better. The pace picked up.
yeah.
Oh, Mox was a bloody mess as he loves to be. Um there was some great high offense. Claudio is the first one to try to climb the cage, but Joe shoves Moxley into him. He goes flying. Everybody's coming down, and then of all people, Gabe Kidd from New Japan comes in and he slides in the briefcase to Moxley, who uses it and picks up the 1, 2, 3. Now I like that Joe is protected here. I do, but like I don't even mind that it's a briefcase. Honestly, I thought it was kind of clever that they realized that the briefcase could fit between the in the corner between the walls of the cage. I thought that was actually kind of clever.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, that means you don't have to throw something over.
yeah.
That's way more convenient,
Uh,
faster. But like Gabe Kidd, like, why? Like,
like,
it would be. I mean, it makes a little bit more sense because after this, everybody and their mother hit the ring. Like
yeah,
the elite, the Elite hit the ring to help beat people up, which brought out Kenny Omega and then Swerve, and like just everybody was there.
Mhm.
Willow came to run off to try and run off Marina. I say try because Marina was foaming at the mouth. She definitely wanted a piece of Willow. It
Yeah.
wasn't she didn't flee out of fear. Let's just say that
No.
it was a tactical retreat, is what it
Yeah.
was, and one that Marina did not agree with
Yeah. Uh,
very clearly. But like, I Gabe Kidd, you can make the case because he still has heat with Omega from their Wrestle Kingdom match earlier. I guess he kind of fits the Death Rider vibe, but like last time we saw him on AEW TV, it looked like he was going to be courted by the Don Callis family, which was, I mean, that stable doesn't need any more members. Trust me, there's like 7 of them now. It's crazy
yeah.
if you include the guys on the injured
If they
list.
get any more guys, and they're going to have to split into red and black.
Yeah, Don Callis Wolf Pack.
Sausage pack.
No, you know what? It'll be Jackal
The
Pack.
Jackal
It'll be
pack.
Jackal Pack. Yeah. And uh, but yeah, like I was like, I just didn't want to see Gabe Kidd. I don't like Gabe Kidd.
I don't either. That
Like
he makes the
I
JP and NJPW stand for Jake Paul. Yeah.
he does give. I mean,
He tell me
let's
he
give
doesn't
him.
remind you of the guy. Tell me he
Let's
doesn't.
give him some credit. He is a wrestler first and foremost.
That's
He
true.
did choose this. He's not a celebrity trying to, break into it. Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that. Whatever. But the point is, he's a wrestler first. I just don't really get the big deal about him in the ring, and he's maybe it's just because he's the exact kind of heel that I hate. Like it's difficult the more into the weeds you get with how wrestling works and how more educated you get, the more difficult it is to kind of actually dislike a performer. But I dislike him because he like I boo him because he's the exact kind of obnoxious that really gets under my skin.
Yes.
Like he's the exact kind of person, in this character that just really, really rankles my cankles, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just, oh, it's like I hate this guy
Yeah.
so much. I've known people exactly like him, and I've
Oh,
hated being around every single one of
like
them.
I don't like him that much. I thought his match with Omega at Wrestle Kingdom was good, but I don't really know much about him past that, and I'm not like going to look really. Um, what what bothered me here about him being involved in it is like, okay, now Shibata has to come back or Hook has to come back to even it out. I mean, they could have left him out of this and it would have been even right there. Um,
Or, and hear me out, because we don't know about his recovery. What if this is the way to get Eddie Kingston back in the fold?
Here's why I hope that's not the case. Because okay, would I kill for Eddie to show up like this week or at the pay per view on Sunday? Fuck yes, absolutely. I'll be so happy when Eddie Kingston comes back.
Me too.
And if you would have asked me
Me
2 years
too.
ago, I wouldn't have been. Okay,
I
I'm a
know.
completely different guy as far as like how my relationship with Eddie Kingston and all that. But it's this is this okay. If you bring Eddie Kingston out and insert him into Anarchy in the Arena, and then turn around and tell me that that's not the guy that's going to unseat Moxley, I will be very unhappy. Because canonically, lore wise, literally in every way, in every possible metric that you can take, if you go back all 5 years of AEW, the guy who should unseat Moxley is the Mad King. And I don't feel like there's any argument anybody can make that would make me believe otherwise.
I mean, he does have that big Continental Classic win over Mox in the finals. to hang his hat on. So he has beaten him for a belt before. I feel like it doesn't need the belt. I feel like Eddie Kingston is the kind of guy, especially when it comes to Darby, not so much Hanger, and definitely not with Osprey. But with Darby, I could really see him being like really getting behind Darby's cause and then picking up the pieces afterwards. Like, you get the belt and I'll get the man. That kind of deal. Like, I could, that's how you kill off the Death Riders once and for all after you get the belt off of Mox. Is you send Eddie Kingston to do it, and he'll light every one of those sumbitches on fire.
Fair. I'm actually checking to see if there's been an update that I missed.
I mean, even if there was, Kingston plays with kayfabe pretty regularly.
Oh, he
He
does for
likes
sure.
he likes to play us. When he gets the opportunity. So I wouldn't even if there was something in the last 2 weeks, I wouldn't believe it necessarily. I think that this is a really good opportunity to get Eddie back in the mix, and I would be all here for it.
Multiple sources have him cleared in June 2025, which means he would be cleared for Sunday. Like, that would be the earliest.
The earliest. Oh, and in a plunder match where he wouldn't necessarily have to take bumps and you could hide it a whole bunch if you needed to.
Let's just remember, everybody, last time Eddie Kingston showed up in an Anarchy in the Arena match was to set someone on fire.
Yep. Covered in gasoline. Just like, oh, what an iconic image. To the point where my friend Elise did a cosplay of it. Like, that's how much it impacted her.
Picture of
like,
Eddie covered in blood with the gas can in his hand, just stumbling down with that look,
with that zombie look in his eye.
Like, I have had the shit
so
beaten
awesome
out of me, and it's time to end this. And he's just got the can of gas.
Didn't even care that Claudio was it was Claudio, I think right?
So.
That Claudio was in the LaBelle lock with Bryan Danielson, who was his partner in the thing. He's dousing both of them in gasoline. Yeah. He's trying to light the thing. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It was something, man. So yeah, I mean, does Eddie show up on Sunday? That might be the case. He might be the evener. But at the same time, man, like, muddy the picture for me some more going into All In. Like, just muddy it all up. Why don't we?
I mean, there are worse things.
Yeah,
I mean, this, as we're gonna find out, as a little teaser for Calling in the Ring, this is a very, very stacked roster. This is an incredibly stacked roster.
Yeah.
Anyway, they set up Anarchy in the Arena. Yeah. And the show ends.
And that's
kind of abruptly, actually.
Yeah. All right. So, Collision this week. Okay. We've already said we're kind of going to blow through Collision pretty quickly, beyond the editorializing that we normally do, just because we've kind of already told you all this was like a B show. It felt like a B show. There's not like a hella large amount of story beats or anything we're going to be hitting here. It was mostly a wrestling show,
which is still fine.
Which is fine. Yeah, I mean, this was not a bad show. It just was kind of a B show for the week. It wasn't up to the par that we've seen over the last few weeks with Collision to now. It was kind of.
I will say it like this. I'll try and be succinct with it. Usually I like Collision more than Dynamite, but I think this time, even with my quibbles about Dynamite, I still think it was the superior show last week.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really close.
No, it wasn't particularly close. No.
I mean, maybe I would feel better about, them being closer if I had seen the whole show, but I didn't get to. So,
right. So we kicked it off with Megan Bayne versus Anna Jay.
Can I say that Harley Cameron and Anna Jay are natural? It's a natural pairing that I didn't think was going to be a natural pairing.
Yeah, they do work really well together.
Anna Jay, I I think her calling is in comedy wrestling.
Maybe it
Who'd have
is.
thought? Who'd have thought?
Well, I mean, I didn't particularly care for her turn to serious wrestling, so maybe this is where she
Yeah,
should be with the comedy wrestling. Like maybe,
maybe. Yeah,
like Pretty Deadly, hit hard, be funny.
yeah,
It works.
yeah. I think the only thing that is sad about it is that with her being paired off with Harley Cameron now, I think that means we may never be getting Ty Mello back. Because I think for a long time they were waiting for her to come back so that they could resume their partnership. But if they're moving on, I don't think that that's a good sign.
I don't
Uh,
know. Yeah, I don't know what's gone on with that. I mean,
I mean,
obviously she
she's a
had a
mom,
child and she's a
clearly.
mom
Yeah,
now. Yeah, I mean, but that's also, I mean, I don't know if there's like a complication that's making it where she can't come back, or if she just decided maybe she doesn't want to.
yeah,
You know, the smallest amount of clarification would probably do us the world as far as not having to
yeah,
editorialize that and just know. But it's their business, not mine. So
yeah. It's
whatever
true.
she decides. If she doesn't
Yeah,
come back, I'd like to know, like if you're not coming back, like tell us so we can give you a proper send off, at least.
yeah. I mean,
You know?
I liked Ty Mello. I thought she
Yeah,
added something different to the division that nobody else offered with her judo. Like
yeah,
I thought her judo and her jujitsu are like there are certain other women that have a little bit of that. But even Marina Shafir, who has MMA experience, doesn't have and trains with Ronda Rousey, doesn't have the judo that Ty Mello does.
no,
Like and doesn't work it into her matches like Ty Mello does. So like I really feel like she offers something far different than anybody else in the division, and that can really take you a long way.
yeah,
And she's legitimately tough. We saw that in that street fight that they had with Anna Jay and Ty Mello versus the Bunny and Penelope Ford
yeah,
a couple years back, where they just bled everywhere and they looked like psychos every single one of them. It was
yeah,
awesome because of course it was. This was AEW women in a no DQ environment in a main event. Yeah, of course it's gonna kick ass.
yeah,
It's a foregone conclusion at this point. Um, but yeah, like I'm gonna miss. I mean, if this is, if this is a sign that Ty Mello isn't coming back, I just want to take the opportunity to say that I've missed her, and that while I respect whatever decision she makes, I will continue to miss her in this division.
yeah. So yeah,
Uh,
Bane, of course, hit that fate descent, gets the win over Anna Jay.
yeah.
I kind of expected this to happen, but also wasn't sure. They've been,
They,
building this up a little bit, so
I mean, hell, with the way that Harley Cameron looked against Megan Bayne last or the week before, where she had probably the most competitive match with Bayne since her return to AEW.
hmm
Like it was not a one-sided affair like most of these other matches. So I'm like, either Megan Bayne was, you know, told to sell more for the sake of the division, or maybe she just did Harley a solid because Harley is well liked. I don't know, but
don't
like
know.
it's making for more competitive matches with Bane, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
Because okay, we've established you're a monster. Everybody in the division knows now. So the logical thing is nobody walks in there without a game plan against Megan Bane.
yeah,
That's the psychology that you need to employ going forward. People need to try to come up with answers for her ahead of time instead of just walking into the ring assuming that they're gonna have a good time.
yeah. After the match, we cut to commentary, and Nigel is um, basically accepting that he's going to team with Daniel Garcia versus FTR at Double or Nothing. So we're
And I'm
officially getting that
excited
match.
for it.
I
I'm
am too.
excited for it.
I am too.
Nigel back in the ring with my boy Danny against the best tag team in the world. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes,
Give it to me.
please.
I
Yeah.
want it.
Then we had Kyle Fletcher versus AR Fox.
Yeah. I mean, AR has been booked to be kind of destroyed the last couple of times he's been out. So this was much more competitive, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did
Uh,
too. I thought they really complemented each other really well too.
Yeah, they have excellent chemistry.
Surprised me a little bit because I didn't. I mean, AR is so good. Not everybody has good chemistry with him. I mean, just he is just that good.
And Kyle
but
bumped
Kyle is
and
good.
sold for him.
Yeah.
And oh my, his facial expressions during this match were top tier.
Kyle has the exact kind of face that is
good.
punchable when he's being smug, and you revel in it when he's being upset. Like he has that, like he has a face that when he is like
he has villain face.
He has villain face, yeah. So like you want to hit him when he's smiling, and then when he's upset, it's like this is awesome. So
no, he was born to be in the position that he's in. Like he's he's had a coming out party over the last year. Like this is he's one
Don
of their
Callis
top
and Sky
guys.
Blue have done wonders for this young man. So
no
kidding.
No kidding.
But yeah, Kyle. Yeah, go ahead.
What I will say is that AR Fox needs to be getting some wins soon, though.
Yeah, he does.
It's like him and Vanilla Baby and like all the other like the 3 or 4 guys that they always have come in and always put on a quality match with people only to lose. These Mortos is there too in that conversation. Like they need to give those guys who are getting over on their work rate alone. Like they pulled the trigger on Commander for a little bit and gave him a Ring of Honor TV title reign. You know, these guys are in a similar spot to Commander. Let them get some wins.
I mean, we've got so many of these guys that have a good match with anybody that we could almost have an entire Continental Classic with just those guys.
Then you know what? That's what they should do. The next one, they have a Continental Classic full of the most talented job guys in the company.
Yeah, just the talented.
And I don't mean that disparagingly. No. I mean, give these guys a showcase and give a lot of them wins that they don't normally get.
Yeah.
You know, like it could be the most, and since they're all used to losing, if they go 50-50, it could be the most even Continental Classic yet.
Yeah.
And nobody would bat an eye because they're used to seeing these guys lose anyway.
You're right, exactly.
Take all those guys and put them in there and have them be in the C2 and determine the next star from that. That kind of deal.
So yeah, Fletcher gets the win with a brainbuster that he's been using a lot lately. So I like brainbusters, man. They always look disgusting.
Yeah.
Then they did
a weird thing because Don Callis was on commentary for this match, and then they go to commercial, and then he comes back out with the rest of the Don Callis family for this next match instead of just staying on commentary. He goes in the back during the commercial to walk them to the ring. He could have just like stood up at the commentary table and like clapped as they made their entrance or stood on the table or whatever. Like, but no. For some reason, they decided it was important for him to go all the way back there, only to come all the way back out, and then again, for a second time, sit down at the commentary table.
Welcome back, Don.
What a weird decision.
Yeah, it was weird.
What a weird decision. You know what was also a weird decision? Not advertising Tomohiro Ishii ahead of time. I love Big Tom. Give me more Big Tom. I was, as soon as I saw this, it was like, what, a few hours before the show went on when they actually announced this match. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? And what a weird trio. Tomohiro Ishii, Brody King, and Bandito.
Yeah.
Like, you could not pick 3 more different guys to put in a trios match together, but somehow it works.
And Brody King and Bandito have a handshake?
And they beat the Don Callis family.
Yeah, I couldn't fucking believe this part, actually. I was like, what do you mean they, like, when they won, I was just surprised. I was like, what do you mean they won?
Yeah. What do you mean? This is Rando team versus Don Callis family, who are booked more often than not to be cohesive units, no matter what the combination. And you just granted, I wouldn't want to take a Brody King cannonball, but like, and granted, it was Rocky Romero, who's used to looking at the lights, but like, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Uh,
Then they get
I
attacked by the family.
yeah, and then the
The
Outrunners are
Outrunners make the
here.
save, and we all love the Outrunners,
Yeah,
so
we
great
all
way to
love
get
the
them on the
Outrunners.
show despite not being
Hell yeah,
advertised.
yeah.
Um, I love
But
the
you know they
Outrunners.
had their run their run in with RPG Vice. It should still be Roppongi Vice. I don't know why they're doing this. It's more, it doesn't roll off the tongue to say
No,
RPG in comparison and
it
contrast
doesn't
to
save any
Roppongi.
time.
Plus, now that they're not Roppongi Vice, they can't use their awesome theme music for Roppongi Vice.
Yeah.
Like, that theme
Is it a
music was
licensing issue
great.
with New Japan or something? I don't know what the
No,
problem is.
like they used Tomohiro Ishii's New Japan theme in this match.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know what's going on here. Like,
I don't know, man.
it seems like
I'm
there's
glad
a
they're back
weird
together, but
relationship.
like,
Like,
I'm glad they're back together. I like the Jackal Driver finish. I like, that Snidely Whiplash hair that Rocky's growing out, like being a real dastardly son of a gun. But like, I feel like RPG Vice is like, what are we playing Dungeons and Dragons? Are we playing Fire Emblem? What are we doing here? What's going
right.
on?
So then we have Adam Cole backstage with the Paragon, and it looks like they're gonna go against Grizzled Young Vets next week, I guess,
Yeah.
which
All
I'm
right,
excited about. Where
renewed
has
focus
GYV
on the
been?
tag team division.
Yeah, like
Renewed
we just
focus on
said
the
this like
tag
last
team.
week. Like all the tag teams have
Yep.
been disappearing, and all of a sudden here they are, all of them.
Yep.
All of them.
And there are multiple tag team programs that don't revolve around the belts.
Yeah.
So they're tag teams that are feuding with each other instead of just like, okay. We're in this weird position where the champions are facing like all like the scrubby teams
Yeah.
instead of the actual teams that would be in theory be in championship contention.
Yeah.
And all of those teams are feuding with each other, or in FTR's case, feuding with one guy and an announcer.
Yeah.
It's a very strange time, but I do think that even though the focus in the division is weird right now, I like the fact that they are still establishing these. I mean, because how many times, as former we've watched WWE for long, 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 long time. And what was the formula? It was the champions are at the top, and then you have the challenger of the month, and like maybe one other tag team program somewhere further down the card.
Yeah.
And nothing else. And then you have all these tag teams just kind of in waiting, and then even after they've been off TV for 6 months, all of a sudden they're in a number one contenders match. They win it out of nowhere, and then they become the tag team challengers of the month.
Yeah.
They're not doing that here. So even though the title scene is kind of weird and kind of like tomato canny, at least the undercard in the tag team division is a lot healthier than it's been in a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll take that. If I have to have one or the other, I'll take this actually over what I'm used to.
Yeah.
It's refreshing.
So after that we got Blake Christian, one of my new favorites.
Yeah, Vanilla Baby.
Against Speedball Bailey. Now
what a great little match.
It was a great match. I'm gonna say this just offhand, just right off the front. Lee Johnson's pecs are too big for the rest of his upper half. Okay.
Yeah, they are.
Lee Johnson got bigger titties than most women I know. Like, I don't know what's going on over here, but like they are really big compared to the rest of his upper body.
I guess that's what happens when you leave the Codyverse. I
guess so. I don't know, man. But like, I was just like, I saw it like I noticed it last week. I was like, the top of his t-shirt just looks puffed out like really hard. I was like, that's got to be his muscles, but are they really that much bigger than the rest of him? Yes. The answer is yes. They really are that much bigger than the rest of him. Yeah. Like I made sure to pay like extra attention to him this week. I was like, did I just see it wrong? Nope, I didn't. He has comically large pectoral muscles. But this match, I continue to be impressed with both of these guys
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
all stretches of the imagination. Like I really enjoy Speedball. Um,
This match woke up the crowd too, which was so tired after Dynamite.
I
Like,
also really enjoy seeing my kids be really into they them
yeah,
on screen. Making a
it's
good
pretty cool.
representation. I really
That's pretty cool.
I like it a lot. My son in particular is a big fan of Speedball. He likes Speedball. And I think even more now after I was like, y'all are similar in certain ways.
Yeah.
So I really like that. I really like Speedball. I find his presence outside the ring to be very warm and just like
He seems like,
he
I mean,
seems like just the nicest guy.
he's he's the he's the epitome of a Canadian.
Yeah, I guess I know a bunch of Canadians. They're not all that nice. Okay, most of them are dicks.
But
But
he's the
Speedball
epitome
is
of the yeah.
he is the stereotype of a nice Canadian.
Yes.
He just is
Like,
a really nice person. It seems
yeah.
like. Um, but on top of being a really nice person, he is a phenomenal professional wrestler.
He really is.
He just is.
He's special, man. Like, he's gonna be one of those guys. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's, I would say it's cutthroat, but it's not, because the AEW locker room doesn't really seem to be
No.
very, like, overly, like, Hogan era competitive or whatever. But, like, you know this is in terms of time on TV, like, it's competitive, because, like, this roster is so deep, and Speedball could have been another, like, flavor of the month kind of deal. Oh, we
Yeah.
just signed this guy, and then you're not going to see him for another 3 months. But,
Right.
like, he's earned every single second of TV time that they're offering to him. He's getting over. I mean, he's gotten over so quickly, because, again, like, he offers something that nobody else does with his Taekwondo background. Like, he had a little bit of that with Malachi slash Alistair Black with his kickboxing background, but, like, no, you know, it wasn't quite the same.
Yeah.
And it was certainly, with his character, it wasn't this high speed energy that you get with Speedball.
Yeah.
So it's very, very uh crowd friendly, the presentation that Mike Bailey puts forth, and I really, really am enjoying it. I was glad to finally experience him when he first got signed, and I have not been disappointed in a single Speedball Mike Bailey match in the last 3 months that I've seen.
Yeah.
So
So I saw the match he did with Omega, that Omega
yeah,
called like one of the best matches he had ever had,
yeah,
by his opinion.
yep,
I thought it was good. So when he showed up at
yeah,
AEW, because I whenever people were saying he's coming, I wanted to know. So I asked people on Blue Sky, they
mm,
provided. They showed me the Omega Speedball match, and I was like, okay, this is good. So I mean, this guy, I mean, he could hang with Kenny Omega. He definitely has a place on the AEW roster somewhere.
sure, yeah.
But then he showed up in like in the super HD, presentation of him. I was like, well, the generic techno music with speedball over it. Like I was like, this is kind
I
of
kind of like
generic.
that,
I do
though.
now.
Like,
Um,
because it's so, like, 1991.
yeah, but at
Like,
first I was like, this music's weird. He looks like a Karate Ken doll. Like he's doing the whole like super like he. What
the
were
mullet.
those? There was like these action figure fighters on little stands that you could crank and they would spin around.
Uh,
Karate fighters, was that what they were
yeah,
called?
karate
Okay,
fighters,
so he
or
reminded me of a karate
yeah,
fighter. Um, and now as the weeks have gone on, I'm just like, okay, like it's just a weird gimmick that this guy has made 100% work.
yeah.
Nobody has been this effective with a karate gimmick since like the cat, basically. Like
Somebody call his mama.
somebody call his mama. So yeah, it was a great match. I thought these two really worked well together. Um, sorry. I would like to see more well, more of both of them, but I think we should probably give Blake Christian some more mic time. I
Yeah,
feel like he could make
I
me
don't know
hate
what
him
he can
even
do
more.
on a mic, really.
I think
I'm
I
not really.
think I think he can make me hate him more. His face just
Yeah,
makes me
probably.
dislike him already. So
Yeah, he's a smug little
yeah,
skinny ginger guy
he's a
with a
smug, yeah,
terrible mustache.
a terrible mustache, but somehow is a badass. And
Yeah.
then um, let's see. Afterwards, Okada comes to the ring. I guess he
Yeah,
says,
Bailey had called him out.
yeah, Bailey had called him out. Okada comes down. He approves, bitch.
Yeah.
Um, so we're gonna get, I guess, Okada and Speedball at Double or Nothing.
I I think maybe they're gonna add Roosh to that though, because to release the Cohen Roosh, blast Bailey from behind as he's distracted with Okada, and Roosh was locking eyes with Okada as he was doing it, and Okada's like, I don't want any of that. I'm out of it. And to be fair, who would? It's Roosh. He's a crazy violent man.
Yeah,
Um, I wouldn't mind the singles match, but I certainly wouldn't mind the 3-way either. Like, that's okay. I mean, mostly because it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that Okada's going to win
yeah.
and then go on to face Omega at All In,
Mm-hmm.
presumably to unify the Continental and the International titles. So,
I need
I
them to come
mean,
up with a better name than Intercontinental, though. If they call it the Intercontinental title, like that's just gonna
even if they
be
just
weird.
meld it in and
It
absorb it and
could just
just
stay
say
the
it's the
international title.
international title, like,
Yeah, I would. I think I'd prefer that inevitability.
yeah, I think they
Um,
just fold it in and just remain as the international title. That'd be
yeah.
fine.
After that,
Uh,
we had what I thought was my favorite match of the night.
Me
The
too.
most fun
This
that
was
I
so
had.
much fun.
Gates of Agony and
So
Learning
much
Tree.
fun.
Um, they have their street fights. Like that first one was garbage. Okay,
Yeah.
but the
The
second
one
one
in the
was
parking
good.
lot, yeah.
And this one
Yeah.
was the most fun I've had out of the whole 3 matches.
This
This was
was
so fun.
really, really fun. And I was watching with my wife, Tracy, and and I sat up in bed like during different points of this match. I'm like, Toa's doing the Samoan thing. He's not selling the
Yeah,
headbutts.
he's not selling the
Like,
headbutts or the punches or the everything in his head.
like, yeah, I really think that this was Toa Leona's match. Honestly, like, he didn't win. The Learning Tree wins in the end because, that's the story is the Learning Tree trying to impress Chris Jericho. So of course they're gonna win. That's fine. But it's the in between that counts. And man, they filled a lot of stuff in this, and it was all good. Like, all
Mhm.
of it was good.
It was all good. It was
Um,
so much plunder, but I'll be like, okay, the only thing I didn't like. Okay, you ready for this? Because I don't have a like. I like this. I like this. I didn't like this. I didn't like this. I don't have any of these. Like, I have one thing about this match I didn't like.
was that?
That he started the match swinging that barbed wire baseball bat around. Like that should have gotten shit canned immediately for later. Like you
I
hit Big Bill
liked
with
it.
that thing twice, and then we still had a match after. Like
I liked it. And I'll tell you why. I liked it because it's like, oh my God, this is how we're starting out? This is crazy. It set the tone for the entire thing. And, obviously, Big Bill eventually shrugged it off.
Mhm.
So, put over how tough he was, and then got rid of it somehow. So, it didn't come into play again. But it was
Yeah.
like, Toa Leona is not playing around. Bishop Khan is not playing around. Is To me, it was indicative of their desire to show up and show out and earn that coveted TV time. They were going to make the most of their minutes, especially after that parking lot thing a few weeks ago. It didn't really go over as well as it could have. Like you said, the next week was better where they both went through the tables at ringside. That was fun.
Yeah.
This one kicked it up all the way to 11, and it was great. Like, I think my two favorite spots, both involved Toa Leona, where he did he had Brian Keith in the garbage can in the corner, in the Tree of Woe, and he does the flying headbutt, which of course he knows sells the damage that he would take from doing a flying headbutt to a guy in a trash can, because he's Samoan and he's traditional. And then Bishop Khan follows it up with a shotgun dropkick, which drops him from the corner. And then Toa gets on the second rope and hits a bonsai drop while he's still in the trash can. Like,
Yeah.
amazing. And then there was the spot with him uh running at Brian Keith again on the outside with the barricade, where
Yeah.
he gets hit he runs all the way along the side of the ring and he gets hit with what was what was it, a kendo stick
I
or
think
what was
so.
it? I
I
can't
think it was
remember
a
what
kendo
the
stick.
weapon was, but or maybe he just got his foot up. I don't even remember. But what I do remember is that he puts his head down, his hair is covering his face, and he takes a couple of woozy steps back, and then he like flips his hair up again, and he's got that wild look in his eyes. He slaps his chest, and then he just dives on him, and he goes over the ramp and or over the guardrail onto the timekeeper's table. Man, like, that's the stuff right there. That's the stuff.
Yeah, he threw that lid at his head. And he was just like, nope.
That's what it was. It was a
Oh,
trash can
trash
lid.
can
That's
lid.
what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. He threw
That's
it at
what it
him. Yeah.
was.
Okay. But yeah, I mean,
Oh,
so Learning Tree gets the win here. After God,
choke
it was
slam.
just a
Yeah,
nasty choke slam. But I mean, it was just the whole match was nasty. It was just holy
it
crap!
was
Like the whole time, I
so.
was just on the edge of my seat the whole time. I have a feeling that the next time either of these teams see Hurt Syndicate, it's going to be a lot more competitive than the last time.
I think you're right.
Either one of these guys. And I think that this program alone could build either one of them into legitimate tag team competitors, which we need more of. I'm sorry, but like
Yeah, for sure.
when your tag team champions are Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, it is going to take a significant tag team to take them down.
Yeah, for
Somebody is
sure.
going to have to be built much higher than anybody else in the division is currently built. It's
Yeah,
just going to have to happen that way. And this is a damn good start that we're on right here with these three last interactions
yeah.
between these two teams.
This was definitely the favorite match of the night from what I saw. I can't
Yeah,
speak for the final two matches because I didn't get to see them, but this, for what I did see, even with Blake Christian and Speedball having their great match, this was my favorite. It was just total plunder, total chaos. Everybody looking great. Toa Leona just like looking like a freaking monster. It was awesome.
yeah.
And then
After
the
that, we
last
had
thing,
the last
yeah,
thing that everybody saw was
yeah,
the Mongo tribute, which is, to his credit, the most recent time I've seen Ric Flair remain professional.
yeah,
And also not make something completely about him. He actually came
yeah,
out and did what
yeah.
I believe he was supposed to do.
I had the same thought. Yeah.
Yeah, like this way, he didn't even woo. Like there was
No,
no
not
woo, there
once.
was no he like, and even the cheap pop was very downplayed. Like, because he did say like the city name and get the cheap pop, but it was very,
Yeah,
this is one of the best wrestling cities in the world. We're
which
here to
is
pay
true
tribute to
for the
Mongo.
record. Yeah,
Misty's great. She never left his side and all that. Like he did every, like, this is the best thing that Ric Flair has done on TV in like 10 years.
yeah. And it was
Um,
because he was utilized only for what he was asked to do, and he didn't embellish. He didn't go, try and make it about his brand or
yeah,
whatever. It was just him being a person for once.
yeah,
Like I feel like we saw Richard Fleer and not Ric Flair.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
I feel like this showed that he has incredible respect for Mongo. Like he didn't turn
yeah.
this
Oh,
over.
those guys were so close,
Yeah,
so close. I love the fact that they took the opportunity to pair this with ALS Awareness Month.
mm-hmm.
You know, because he had been suffering for that for 6 years before he died, and you know this is why I like when AEW does this, because Mongo didn't show up on AEW ever. He had no connection whatsoever. They still
No,
paid tribute to him in his hometown and raised awareness. Made it a point to pair it with pairing awareness of the thing that killed him.
yeah,
Like, this is how you do it right.
yeah.
You know,
I thought it was
this is how
incredibly
you do it right.
tasteful.
Absolutely. Probably the most tasteful um tribute to a wrestler who's passed away on TV in a long, long time.
Yeah, I would say so.
So
So yeah. Now after this, mm, some of you might not have seen what we're about to talk about.
well, what
Including
you're
Adam.
about to talk
What I'm
about,
about to talk about.
I'm
And actually, I can't even remember what the second match was. Like I remember what the main event was, but I don't remember what the match before that was. That everybody meant. Oh well. Oh wait, no. Now I do. Never mind. I do. Okay.
okay.
So we had. I need to. I need to look up who won this match because for some reason I can't remember who won this match. It's not in my notes.
Oh, it must not have been that great if it
It
wasn't in
really.
your
I,
notes
I
who
didn't really
won.
like it that much. I thought parts of it were good. Parts of it really caught my attention, and parts of it were just really like
Was it the
very.
tag match?
Yeah. Sons
So
of Texas
Crew versus Sons of Texas
versus Crew. Yeah. And I am trying to find who won exactly Sons of Texas versus Crew because it's a number one contendership. Okay, Sons of Texas won. Okay. So the Sons of Texas, I believe, will be taking on Hurt Syndicate at Double or Nothing for the tag team titles. Which kind of out of left field. Like there's other tag teams that are literally in line, but um I wasn't really into this match that much. It was good. It just wasn't it didn't hold me the whole time.
Yeah.
It took like in between holding my attention, it took its sweet time. I'll just say that. It didn't help. I mean, it probably didn't help that it felt disjointed in the stream of the match that I watched because they had cut out commercial breaks and stuff like that. And
Oh, well, yeah.
so I didn't see any commercial breaks in the match, but there were times when like something would happen and then it would cut and something else would be happening, and I'm like, oh, that there must have been a commercial right there because
Yeah.
I don't know how we got from this point to this point. And AEW does not always give us like that picture in picture with what happened during the break, which I really wish that was standard in wrestling television. AEW, I feel like has a little bit of like a replay problem. Like sometimes there's a spot that I want to see again for sure right away, and they never show it.
They don't do nearly as many replays as I would appreciate. Like I know that they want you to, and honestly, the style of AEW, it wants you to pay attention to what's going on right now. You know, WWE, for contrast, they schedule in their matches those rest holds not just to do a rest hold and call the next spot or whatever, but so these kinds of replays can be played out without you as an audience member missing anything.
Yeah.
And while that gets tedious and that slows things down and homogenizes things to a degree, I think it is something that AEW could do a little bit more of. Like the people in the truck have watched enough wrestling at this point to know when there's going to be a natural lull in the action, as they're selling. So those would be the opportunities to, grab a clip and wait for your moment, and that's when you do it again. That's when you show it again. Like they don't need to do the thing where they call rest spots on purpose for the express purpose of showing something again in replay. But if there happens to be a couple seconds in the match that it would naturally be, you know, a good place to put it, do it more often.
Yeah.
Do it more often. Like that's. I think you and I are in agreement. What do you guys think? You can tell us if we're full of crap or not. Like if you just want to watch what's currently happening, or if you like replays or you don't like replays, let us know. You can contact us anytime. We will absolutely get back to you. We love engagement. We don't get nearly enough as we want, honestly. If we're being completely fair, not to put a guilt trip on anybody, but like we would absolutely love to interact with you guys. So, you let us know.
Then we had after that we had our main event, which is Powerhouse Hobbs versus Wheeler Yuta, which honestly to me did not seem like a main event. And went about as you would expect a Death Riders involved match to go. So basically, what happens is Hobbs kicked the shit out of Wheeler Yuta a
Good.
lot.
I bet the crowd loved it.
The crowd was loving it. Wheeler was really trying at the beginning to just like get, do his punches and his kicks and his stuff that the Death Riders had taught him, but Hobbs no-sold him for like a solid 5 minutes. Just nothing. It took Wheeler like ducking out of the ring and grabbing Hobbs' head and like bouncing it off the top rope, like as he jumped to the floor to get Hobbs to finally start selling stuff. Because like he was like, Hobbs was chasing Yuta around the ring. Yuta did the thing where he ducks into the ring and then the other guy ducks in behind him and he starts kicking him.
Yeah.
And Hobbs just like kept getting up through that whole thing. Like he just kept getting up and like he just no-sold him forever. And then finally the match the match got going and they were back and forth a little bit. But I mean, I don't think it was any question that Hobbs was going to win this match. The question was more kind of what's going to happen afterwards. And then it was odd and it wasn't much. So it was like Hobbs wins. He's celebrating. Yuta is kind of out. And then Marina Shafir shows up and attacks Hobbs from behind by hitting the knee. Like she take out his knee from behind. And then her and Wheeler are beating him up. And then Willow shows up and kind of runs them both off. Showing that not only is Marina scared of Willow, but so is Yuta, which fair.
Fair.
I've seen what Willow does to people Yuta's size. But that's pretty much how it ended. Like it was pretty much over at that point. No big revelations, no big story beat, moving this along as we get into Double or Nothing with this anarchy in the arena. No word on who the extra man's going to be for the good guy side. Nothing. Just, it's almost like but I mean, it was a pre-tape, so of course they didn't know they were getting kicked off the air, but it feels like the part of the show that didn't air, like maybe they knew it was going to be like kind of a downturn to the rest, because the rest, like after that freaking plunder match, everything else was just not as good. I'm sorry. Like everything else on the show, like the Mongo tribute was very good and very tasteful and exactly what it should have been. And I have nothing bad to say about it. But all the matches after that plunder match were just not as good as that plunder match, man.
That street fight was great.
It was great.
So much fun.
So
like it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what we want for wrestling. We want it to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, typically it's not uncommon for like wrestlers to be like, okay, as we go out there, each consecutive match is going to tear the house down more because you got to follow the guys before you.
Right.
But this was one of those cases where like the guys in the third or fourth match went out and were like, we're going to put on a banger. And the main event didn't look as good because of it. I mean, it just, but not only was the main event it wasn't really that main event. It also had the disadvantage of being compared to this match that was 2 matches before it. Yeah. And,
that makes sense.
So
that makes sense.
I thought the show was good overall, but it left some things to be desired as far as like everything else but that tag match. I mean, I'm not trying to be like negative about it. I thought the show was good. It was a solid show. I enjoyed myself, but like a couple times I lost interest, Yeah. It just happens. So, and that's not every Dynamite. That was just this one. So,
Collision.
It was pretty good, but yeah. I think, with that said, we should get on to like more positive affairs.
Absolutely. Oh, I've been looking forward to this for a long time, actually.
Yeah. So let's
do the thing.
Yeah, let's call it in the ring.
What thing is that? Yeah.
We do like the pros do and call it in the ring.
All right. So there was a conversation that I had with my emerging buddy Shy on Blue Sky. We were having a conversation regarding Jay White, and they're a big Jay White fan. I'm okay with him, and I made an offhand comment about Jay White. Like I get I kind of get the reactions to him and everything, but like I don't know, I wouldn't even have him in my top 10 of AEW wrestlers, and we agreed to disagree because wrestling is subjective, and because that's what Blue Sky is all about. We're trying to be more positive and less confrontational and this kind of stuff. And as I've come to know Shy a little bit better, like they and I have a really good rapport, and we agree on a lot of stuff, which makes when we don't agree on a lot of stuff or a certain other stuff not so big a deal. But it got me to thinking, who would be in my AEW top 10?
Hmm.
So that's what we were going to do actually last week. And then Sabu passed, and we felt like we needed to address that in the moment. Um, Not just because it was, the topic of the literal day that we were taping, but also uh, from kind of a therapy standpoint,
Yeah.
so that we could say goodbye for our own peace of mind and our own, uh, I don't know, I don't know what else you would
Our
say,
own
but
posterity. Yeah.
yeah, I guess. Um, but so we just decided to postpone this topic until this week. So I've been thinking long and hard about it, and this, like I said earlier, I alluded to earlier, this roster is deep. This assignment that I gave myself and Aaron was actually a little bit more, a little bit harder than I thought it would be to try and just constrain it to 10, because this roster is deep with talent, and there aren't that many performers on this roster that I genuinely don't like. Like, it's there aren't that many stinkers on the roster, to be fair, like everybody offers something more. Like 99% of the roster is likable in one aspect or another. So whittling it down to my 10 favorite was harder than I thought it would be, and I gave myself the assignment. So
Yeah, it was difficult.
but I think I whittled it down, and I think I've got uh a list that I'm happy with. What do you think? Well, how was your process?
Man. Um, it was weird because I like basically just like had 10 spaces and was like, all right, um, here's somebody I really like. Here's somebody else I really like. Who do I like more? And
Yeah,
then like I had to sort it out.
try to figure out the
Yeah,
hierarchy.
it
Yeah.
was difficult. It took me a few hours to go from
See, from
an unnumbered list of 10 names to then a numbered list. Yeah, a few hours from having the names to knowing where they sit, at least.
see for me, it was a little different because I did sort of the same thing you did, but like my first five, I knew right away. My top five are like set in stone in the order that they're in. It was trying to fill out the bottom half of the top 10 that posed a real challenge for me, because it's like, okay, I know these are like my guys, like above everybody else. Now you've got all these other performers who are somewhere in that same kind of, like, think of it as a pyramid, and like the top five are the very top of the pyramid, and then like literally everybody else is the rest of the pyramid. Like, that's a lot to cover. So like I had issues trying to whittle down the five, which I feel like is actually more difficult than 10. So uh first of all, I want to lay the ground rules here so everybody knows our thought process. This is active wrestlers only, active AEW competitors only. So people who have retired, like Sting, off the table. Semi-retired, like Brian Danielson, off the table. Away on sabbatical to do something like, oh, I don't know, climb the highest mountain on the earth, off the table. Uh, People on the injured list, off the table. Guest stars from other promotions, off the table. That being said, I'd like to get our honorary mentions out now. So how about we'll start with you, Aaron. How about you name your favorite outside performer that often moonlights in AEW?
Oh man, see, I thought our honorable mentions were just going to be like people who didn't fit the criteria.
I mean, we'll get to
Okay.
that.
But I mean, or injured people or people who just didn't make the list.
I'm gonna give shout outs to everybody in those
Okay,
categories.
so
But
my first honorable mention, I have two. My first one
okay.
is Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie is like one of my favorite
Yeah.
people on this roster, but he is currently not with us. He is injured,
He's
so
injured.
he's not an active
Yep.
wrestler. He could be one as soon as Sunday. Um, but Eddie's definitely on this list. I struggled with not putting him on the 10 anyway, and just being like,
Yeah.
look, fuck it, you know. But I tried to stick to the assignment this time, so I did the assignment.
Yeah.
I got an honorable mention who's outside
Yep.
the thing. It's Eddie. He's my first one for
Yeah.
sure.
My in that same category, Eddie is mine as well. Although, I mean, there's so many people right now that could fit that. I don't want to not show love to people like Orange Cassidy or Keith Lee, but it is of the people who are injured. My favorite one is Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Like it's. I wouldn't say it's not close because it is pretty close. Like I mean, especially with like Keith Lee. Poor Keith Lee. I hope that his health turns around because I miss that big
Yeah,
boy
me too.
so much. I was there for his AEW debut and I jumped out of my seat. I was so thrilled because it was a surprise. He wasn't advertised ahead of time. It was just him doing big beefy boy things. It was awesome. But yeah, Eddie Kingston is just he's the man. He's the millennial everyman
Yeah.
in a way in very much the same way uh that Adam Page is. Except he has been to the darker places because of how he was, but because of his upbringing, really, and that really comes forward. He's from Yonkers, which is not like a great place to live.
No.
Um, I mean, there are worse places, but not a lot of worse places in the country. Um, but like he's just so authentic. You believe everything that he says. I remember him on Being the Elite cutting a promo on a cookie, and I believe it's like, oh yeah, he hates that cookie. I don't know what that cookie did to him. That cookie must have spit on his mama or something. But he hates that cookie, and I believe every single word. But yeah, it's you and I are the same in that respect. If we're talking about honorable mention, rankings, like my favorite injured AEW person is obviously Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So there's that. Like if I'll give you another couple of minutes while I go on and fawn about my favorite guest star, so to speak. It's as much as I love Big Tom, and I do love Big Tom, it's Minoru Suzuki. My grandpa, anytime he shows up, I get really, really excited. I'm like Eddie Murphy in Nutty Professor. Like I just he gives me such a feeling of glee. I remember when he was what was it? I think it was SmackDown was preempting Rampage or something like that, so they gave away a free pre collision or pre Rampage match on YouTube for free, and it was Minoru Suzuki versus Bryan Danielson, and it was awesome. It
Yeah.
was just it was so good. It was so good, and I'm like, I don't care that he loses literally every single time he shows up. It doesn't matter. That man is a Gracie killer, and he will always be over in my eyes. I love Minoru Suzuki so much. He's my favorite guest star, and there are a lot of good ones too. There are a lot of freelancers that come in that are great, but none of them are the Murder Grandpa.
Yeah. My other favorite, my honorable mention, on the roster, but doesn't check the other boxes. And it's because it's Ian Riccaboni.
Oh,
I love Ian
good
Riccaboni.
call. Good call. I hadn't even thought of announcers, but great call there.
I like Ian for two reasons. One, he's genuinely a very good and very fun announcer to listen to. The other reason is a little bit more selfish. He constantly likes my comments on social media, like more than any other wrestling personality. Me and Ian Riccaboni like have some fun on his threads, and he's genuinely a nice guy. And but yeah, he's always
too.
like liking my jokes and shit.
Absolutely,
you know?
just
so
I love him as a person too. The things that he stands for, you know, the causes that he promotes online and stuff like that. Like he's just obviously just a genuinely good person. And let me tell you, in that carny business, to remain a good person is a sign of really, really strong moral fiber.
Yeah.
Like, and that is, you are absolutely correct about him. And I didn't even think of announcers, and now I feel like I should have.
Yeah, Riccaboni is definitely.
It would be Ian.
Yeah. A good honorable mention for me because I like having him.
Yeah.
Like he didn't put alt text on that picture of him and Don Callis at the desk, so I was like, I fixed that for you. He loved that. He thought that was hilarious.
I saw that you fixed it, but I didn't see his reaction.
Yeah, he loved
to it.
that. So,
that's great.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna do one more honorable mention, it would be like the person who would be number 11, like on this list, and that is Harley Cameron. I adore this woman. She makes me laugh every single time she's on TV. It doesn't matter if she's in a 10-minute match or a 20-minute promo segment. She is one of the most entertaining women I have ever seen on a wrestling program. And and her wrestling's come so far in like the year that she's, become more relevant and more of an on-screen presence.
Yeah.
And like, she works so hard and she's multi-talented and like she's just that image in her match with Mercedes of her coming up with the puppet over the edge of the apron skirt, like like she just gets it, man. She gets entertainment. She gets how to sell herself. Like she's like one of those things. Like how did WWE have her in their grasp in the performance center under contract and let her slip away? Wow, like WWE's loss was absolutely AEW's gain there. Like they are killing it with her, and she is killing it every single time she's on TV. She treats it like it's the last time she's ever going to be on TV, and so she's going to make it memorable. And I love that about her and for her.
Yeah.
And so she would be my number 11 if the list went that far. So that's my last honorable mention.
Yep. Well, I guess let's get into our lists. My 10, it's crazy that he got to this point, to 10. But it's Anthony Bowens.
Really?
The pride of professional wrestling is my number 10.
Very cool.
I feel like he gets overlooked a lot now that he's not with that the Acclaimed isn't a thing anymore, but I feel like we're stepping up into a new push for him that I hope continues as hot as it started. But he's fun.
Yeah, I think he should be the next TNT champion. I think that's the next great step for him.
Yeah. Fun to watch, super good wrestler, obviously the pride of pro wrestling. Fun to talk baseball with on Blue Sky. If you have an opinion about baseball, talk to Anthony Bowens. He will talk to you. He also loves Coheed and Cambria. We have a lot in common. So I talk to him a lot on Blue Sky. Some of these are influenced by the fact that I interact with these people a lot.
That's
on their
valid.
stuff, and it's cool. But Anthony
This
Bowens,
is absolutely valid.
beyond all that, probably one of my favorite bell to bell wrestlers in the company. Like just very good. The 5-tool player. Yeah. He's got it all.
Just got them all.
He's got them all.
No, I love that pick. I absolutely love that pick. And the great thing about this deep roster is that like you and I are gonna have really different lists in certain places, and all of them are gonna be justified because of how deep this roster is and how close so many people are to each other
Yep.
in terms of connecting with us as audience members. For me, number 10 is ya boy Frank Mortos, attorney
Oh
at
man.
Raw,
Whew.
the Beast
I love Beast
Mortos.
Mortos.
Oh my gosh, I remember seeing him live for the first time, and I'm like, holy! Like it was last year during one of the couple of times I went to Dynamite. I'm like I think I'd seen him before, like on TV. I think I'd seen him like randomly in like when I would flip through and watch TNA for a couple of minutes here and there as Black Taurus, and like I didn't really like get it then. And then he started showing up on Dynamite. I'm like, dude, this guy's awesome. Like he moves like somebody half his weight. He is insane, levels of strength for somebody. Like he's not like a tall dude. Most luchadors aren't. Like he's maybe 5'10", 5'11", maybe 6 feet if you include the mask. But like the feats of strength that he can pull while also doing all of the flips and probably the best suicide tornado I've seen. I don't think anybody does a better one than him. Um, like, and even though he, his English isn't like great or whatever, which is why he, does the gimmick that he does. Like, his face is hidden behind a mask. His body language tells you exactly what he's thinking all the time. Like he's got such a grasp of it. And he's so fun. And it was, even though he lost every single time in the Continental Classic, it was so fun to see him get that spotlight. And he's a great base for other luchadors too. Like anybody can do anything with it. If you can't have a good match with Beast Mortos, I think it's your fault,
Yeah, probably.
buddy. Because he's fantastic. He makes everybody look great. He has a defined silly character that I love. No, huge Beast Mortos fan. Absolutely love Beast
Yeah.
Mortos.
All right. So my number 9, uh, relative newcomer. We've talked about him a lot already today. Is Speedball. Speedball is my number
Yeah,
9.
yeah.
I mean, I don't think I have to say over again what I've already said. But
Right.
I
No.
will elaborate just a little bit. Just a little bit. This is the first time that a wrestler has connected with my children. I have okay. My oldest is 20. No, he's 19. My oldest is 19. Um, my youngest is 16. I have. They all will come and sit down and watch wrestling with me, but none of them are like into it like I'm into it. Like I don't expect them to be this into wrestling. I mean, it's different for me. But their whole lives, it's been, if you want to go to wrestling school, that counts as college, in my house. So you can live here and go to wrestling school. But so my my son really connecting with Speedball pushed him up a few spots from where I thought he would have been, just initially. But at the same time, it's like watching that happen. It's like, okay, it's touching. But at the same time,
Yeah.
very nice, very great wrestler, just all around decent human being. Not hard to put this guy on my list at 9. He probably could go higher. And I feel like in the next couple of years, if we do this again, he might be at 5. He might be
Yeah.
at one, although one is gonna be hard to unseat, but um, he's at 9 right now, and I would say and climbing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Uh, my number 9 is somebody who, coincidentally, I have kind of a personal connection with too, sort of. Daniel Garcia. Uh, I, I was born in the capital district in New York, and moved to the Buffalo area when I was 2, and I lived there for 10 years before moving here, and so I very much consider myself a Buffalo boy. And not many wrestlers are from Buffalo or claim it. It's like literally just Danny Garcia and the Butcher that I can think of off the top of my head. Uh, and Yeah, so for me it was like to see somebody from Buffalo. It's like, oh, that's great. Like, I mean, my my main Fed character I always claim was from
Yeah.
Buffalo. I wrote several RPs that took place there.
Yeah.
Uh, but so I for our anniversary last year, Tracy and I went to Buffalo on a whim to and we saw him perform in the I think it was the main event of Ramp. And it was like the sub main event of Rampage, because it was still a thing back then. It was the Battle of Buffalo, him versus the Butcher, and man, that place wasn't full, but it was loud for those two.
I bet.
And it was like, I don't know, it just, to me, it takes me back to seeing him. It reminds me of the place where I fell in love with professional wrestling. And it doesn't hurt, rather, that he's a great wrestler with he's like a pit bull that does techer stuff. I love me a tough techer. So I mean, he had I mean, he even got a win over Bryan Danielson, who's like the greatest wrestler of all time. Like, obviously they clearly see something in him, and I do too. Like, I think that I'm probably going to be rooting for this guy for the entirety of his career.
Yeah. My number 8 is gonna be controversial.
Oh,
For the simple fact that this person is not even I mean, I like this guy. He's not in my top 5. Okay. And his name's Kenny Omega. And there are
mm,
going to be people who are going to take me to task for putting him at number 8.
you won't see me doing that.
Um,
You won't
I
see
am not mad at
Wrestling is
Kenny
subjective.
Omega. I don't dislike Kenny Omega. I fucking love Kenny Omega, but from 8 up, I fucking love all these people. So like
Yeah,
it's
like,
this isn't a like this person is better than this person. This is objectively what we like and where we rank them right now as we
yeah,
sit. Um
yeah.
Kenny Omega is obviously we're building towards him and Okada at All In. I'm hoping it's going to be a fantastic 7-star scale breaking typical Kenny Omega versus Okada match.
I
Um
don't know. It's not going to get an hour. We know
I mean
that.
I wish it would. But
Let's see what they can do with
where we're
25
at with
minutes.
Kenny Omega right now, I mean, he's still kind of ramping up for he is still ramping up from coming back from diverticulitis. He is still, I mean, when you come back, when you have a major surgery like that, from personal experience, I mean, I haven't had a foot and a half of my intestines removed, but I've had major surgeries. When you get back into like football or wrestling or anything like that, it takes a while to fill it out. Even if you're competing every day, it takes a while to get back to where you were. Even if you're 100% healthy, like you can compete. You can compete does not mean you will compete at 100% of your previous. And most of the time, you will never get back to 100% of your previous. You just won't. It won't happen. Did Kenny Omega come back and have a hell of a Wrestle Kingdom match against Gabe Kidd? Yes, it was awesome. Is he going to have a Omega and Okada match the way we expect? I don't know.
I hope.
I don't know. But I'm okay with not knowing because I like Kenny Omega. I really do enjoy Kenny Omega. I like who he is as a person and what he stands for. I like um I like the way he wrestles. I don't particularly like some of his choice in friends, but I also probably have friends that people don't like. It's just what it is. I got nothing against the guy. People are gonna take me to task for him being at number 8. I know this is gonna happen, but this is just where he is right now. Like Speedball is right now at number 9. I didn't expect these two to be this close when I sorted this list out. Um, but I really like Kenny Omega. I super enjoy his work. This is just where he's at right now because there are other
Yeah.
people whose work I'm currently enjoying more.
Yeah, y'all gotta remember this is a top 10 out of a roster that's like
60 deep.
100 people deep. So like 8 is not bad. 8 is really good, in fact. Speaking of, my number 8 is the Alpha Konosuke Takeshita. I feel like, dude, this guy can do anything in the ring. And like he can wrestle like a big guy because he is a big guy. He can wrestle like a smaller guy and sell for the smaller guys, and it's still believable. He makes everybody look like $1,000,000. He gets his stuff in, and it looks like a $2,000,000. Like there's literally nothing he can't do except speak English,
Yeah.
and that's it. But that's what he has Don Callis for. What do you like? That's what managers are for.
Yep.
It's kind of the lost art, because WWE wanted everybody to speak for themselves, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but like because of that, wrestling managers have kind of fallen out of favor until pretty recently, and Don Callis having this huge stable of mostly big meaty men, Takeshita included, like it's good for people like Takeshita who have just that one piece missing, and probably will continue to have that piece missing. But like his international title run was incredible. His matches with Okada, incredible. Like it's gotten to the point where he's built up such equity in himself that he can take a loss here and there, and it doesn't really hurt him anymore. Whereas, like when they first introduced him as being on loan from DDT, he was losing like all the time, to the point where you know they put him in Don Callis' family simply to get him over, to have a storyline reason for his fortunes to turn around.
Yeah.
And boy, have they!
Yeah.
Like I think the world of this guy. Like, and he's young. He's still young. He's got a lot left in the tank as long as he can keep himself healthy. I feel like he's probably at some point in the next 5 years probably going to be a world champion in AEW. I think
I would say
it's
probably.
I think it's on the table. I think it's kind of inevitable, probably.
Yeah.
Like plus the plus the guy's handle is Take Soup, and he is a huge fan of Cinnabon. Like, how do you not love this guy?
Yeah.
How do you not love this adorable giant 6'4" Japanese badass? Like he's incredible. He's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I really, really enjoy him. Number 7. Mine is the yin and yang that is the most dangerous man in the promotion of AEW and his silliest man in the promotion manager. Because Swerve is walking down the ring to kick you, like collision or not collision,
Yeah.
but Dynamite was a perfect example. Swerve is making his way to the ring to kick the shit out of someone, and Nana is just behind him doing the dance. And I'm sorry, but like without Nana, I would not like Swerve as much as I do. I just
I
wouldn't.
know
I'm
it's a
sorry.
weird combination, but for some reason it just works.
Yeah.
It clicks.
It
Like,
clicks.
I don't blame you at all.
It has to be them together. Like I like Swerve, but together they are my number 7. I mean, they're fun.
He's an essential part of the
Yeah,
act.
he's an essential part of the act. I get mad when somebody fucks with Prince Nana, and I know that they're gonna get their ass beat by Swerve afterwards. Uh, like I really enjoy Nana's work. I didn't at first, but I didn't understand. Like I didn't know who the hell he was in ROH. I didn't know anything about the um what was his thing?
The
The
embassy.
embassy. Yeah, like I didn't know about that. I didn't know anything about the jacket. I didn't know anything about like any of that. I just was like, who the hell is this guy with the weird hat? That is
Yeah.
showing up here and being annoying. And at first he did just annoy me. But then they put him and Swerve together, and now I am I enjoy his work. I think he's funny. I think he's an effective manager. His facial reactions and body language do it all. He doesn't even have to. He doesn't have to work a mic for Swerve. Swerve can work his own mic.
Yeah.
But Nana is all in his reactionary stuff and the dancing and all that, and it's great. It's exactly what it should be, and it's super fun. It's just
Yeah,
it's
it
super fun.
is.
And Swerve has some of the best matches on the shows that he's in. It's always a great match. So yeah, that's my 7.
Here is the first repeat because my number 7 was your number 8, Kenny Omega.
Okay.
Uh, I mean, what else can you really say about him except that like he just seems like he's a detail guy, and I like the detail guys. You know, I like the guys who put those that little extra effort into, this is an Easter egg that's going to pay off later. This is, something that we're going to foreshadow. This pays homage to something that happened, a year ago in canon. This kind of stuff. He's like the master of that kind of stuff. Uh if it wasn't for that mindset, I don't think that you would have wound up with him facing Okada 4 times in that series and having all of those. I don't think the first one would have been received as well if he didn't do what he did. And then there certainly wouldn't have been 3 sequels to lead to an eventual title win. I think it would have been a one and done. It would have been like, oh, that was a great match. Okay, now Okada's next challenger. No, because Kenny Omega is Kenny Omega, and he has long term plans on the brain at like all times. He's he's kind of a wrestling genius, but he's so soft spoken and so humble that people don't. I think people find it easy to overlook that aspect of him. I mean, yeah, there are the legions of like Cornette fans who think he takes things too seriously with treating it as an art form or whatever. But like, I think most people actually undersell how much he thinks of it as performance art
Mm.
and how much time and effort he puts into the little touches, and that's what I. Plus, nobody has a better knee,
No, nobody
flying
has a
knee
better
than
flying
Kenny
knee.
Omega.
Nobody.
Uh, there are some people who get close, including Mandy Rose. I thought she had a really, really good
She did.
flying knee.
She did.
But yeah, I mean, Kenny's the one who made that cool. Let's be real here. Everybody does a flying knee now because Kenny Omega does
Yeah.
it all the time. Uh, and I think more than anything, though, it's what I talked about just a second ago is that his personality is he could be with his level of talent and with the thought that he puts in, he could be one of these guys with his head shoved so far up his ass that all you could see or all that he can see are his teeth on the other end. But he's not. He's like completely like a normal person somehow. And it's so charming and so disarming. And it's refreshing to see that from somebody who's in his position who could easily just like get literally anything he wants from Tony Khan if he just asks for it, most likely.
Yeah.
But instead, he chooses to build instead of stroke his own ego. And I think that I think that speaks a lot for why I like him, is that he's not just all about himself, and it's very clear that he's very giving.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
So
who's your number 6?
Number 6. My number 6 is the Collective of the Hurt Syndicate. These are my number 6.
All right.
This is mainly because they have the tag team titles, and there's not really a feud for the tag team titles going on. But the Hurt Syndicate managed to keep me interested in what's going on with the tag team titles, despite there not actually being a tag team title feud. I'm just interested in what they're doing. And
by force of personality.
Yeah, and I still am not that big a fan of Bobby Lashley. It's all like MVP and Shelton Benjamin carrying this for me. But Shelton Benjamin, I feel like, is acting more alive and full of personality than he ever has before. Yeah. Because like
I agree.
He's joking around with MJF. He was lining him up during that last segment, like super, like obviously lining him up, and like I just feel like Shelton Benjamin like got with MVP and got with Bobby Lashley, and they got over here to AEW, and like he was able to pull out a personality that he was not allowed to utilize everywhere else he's worked.
I think that's the key here, is that they're Tony Khan was like, well, how do you want to be presented? How do you want to present yourself? Okay, these are the storyline beats. Go out and do it. I trust you.
And Shelton Benjamin doesn't have to be anybody other, like him and Bobby Lashley and MVP too. All three of them have the distinct like advantage of they don't have to be anybody else than who they are. MVP is a legit badass. Bobby Lashley is a legit badass. Shelton Benjamin is a legit badass. All like Shelton Benjamin be like, what? I'm Shelton Benjamin, former All-American wrestler and National Wrestling Champion. Also, I have held, it's got to be in the 30s by now, title belts in wrestling. Like all he has to do is be who he is. Bobby Lashley, undefeated in MMA, like legit undefeated in MMA, is like a 7 or 8 time world champion or something like that. In wrestling,
something
plus if you add all his other titles in there, he's probably getting in the 30s range, somewhere around there too. So like all they have to be is themselves. MVP was,
legit champion,
yeah, he was. MVP, legit like hardcore, like mosh pit fucking icon, along with being like a sports icon and an ex-con. I mean, among other things,
and somebody who sought out and worked for and earned his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in his late 40s.
Yeah.
Like
he was like,
that's incredible. What a goal.
That is not an old man sport either.
No, it's not.
Like, yes, there's a bunch of red belt grandmasters that we all like love and respect and stuff, but those guys are not really out there competing with the rest of us. Okay, guys, like they're not. It's not an old man sport. Like, ask John Moxley about jiu-jitsu, okay, if you really want to know how bad it can be. When a nerd kicks your ass because you don't understand, like that, just because he's a nerd don't mean shit. Nope. but yeah, Hurt Syndicate.
That just means that nerd knows better physics better than you.
Yeah, he does. But they're my number 6, pretty easily, pretty handily. Above here, it was a lot harder for me to figure out, how the order went, but Hurt Syndicate landing at 6 was pretty solid, just because, like I said, no tag team feud. Still very interested in what's going on here. And that's enough for me. They keep me interested in a way that a lot of other segments have not been able to like hold my interest lately. So here we are. These are the guys I wish was where the Death Riders are. Make MJF the world champ and make these guys, put these guys where the Death Riders are.
I can do without another MJF world champ.
I can't. I'm going to need at least one more. Thank you. And then probably a couple in WWE too.
My number 6 is the one and only Willow Nightingale.
Whew. All right.
Good Lord, what a likable person. Like, it is so hard in this day and age to be a white meat baby face.
Yes, it is.
And somehow, it goes back to the AEW audience and what we were talking about with sincerity. Like, Willow is just authentically herself, and who she is a delightful person. Like, I want to go out and hang out with Willow Nightingale and talk about nerdy things. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to be her friend. I don't even want to talk wrestling with her. I want to talk, like, I don't know, whatever she's into, because she's awesome, and I like inherently trust her.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
like she's the girl next door, man. In a way that so many other women in wrestling have tried to emulate, but have never quite gotten. It's like, basically, Willow is a better Bailey than Bailey.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
she is.
like, and that's no disrespect to Bailey, who I love. I love Bailey. And I hope that when her contract with WWE ends, that she joins Mercedes over here. But
I think that's inevitable.
I think at this point it is
Yeah.
too. But Willow, I just, her attitude and her energy are infectious. She's on the pot. She takes that positive nihilism spin that nobody does. Everybody thinks nihilism, and they think, oh, it's just nothing matters. So do whatever you want. It's like, no, nothing matters. So everything that you do matters.
Yeah.
And like, she looks on uh the glass half full side of that, and it's so refreshing, because like, she's like the coin flip of Raven, basically. you
Yeah.
know it's and she's also super duper tough. Like, she's incredible at literally everything that she's asked to do. She hits it out of the park. And like, what more can you ask? Like, she's an engaging character who can go in the ring, who's believable as a badass, despite the fact that her character is just like all smiles and hugs.
Yeah.
Like, she's everything that you would want in a white meat baby face. That in this day and age, somehow she was still able to get it over, and I think that's a testament to just who she must be as a person.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. I think she's awesome.
She is awesome. Definitely one of my favorites.
All right. Number 5, sir.
My number 5
Getting
is
into the nitty gritty.
probably going to be the last one that's like super surprising, to be honest. But my number 5 is Kyle Fletcher. I just think he's fantastic, man. Like, okay, look, let's go over it. Okay.
We talked a little bit about
yeah,
it earlier,
we need to talk about it, so I don't have to go
into it.
too far, but like, he's got the look, he's got the talent,
Mhm.
he's able to emote. I mean, how much further do I need to go, really? I mean, he's got the it that everybody in this business wants, and everybody wants you to have. If Kyle Fletcher doesn't have it, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And that's all that's all there is to it. Like,
no, I agree.
I
And the dude, and give him props too, because the dude has completely transformed himself too. Like, a year ago, he did not look like that.
No. Tall Devin Sawa
like
last year is not the same guy that we have this year.
With a crappy
yeah,
haircut.
the butt crack haircut and everything, dude. Like,
I mean, his physique is just like, he's completely transformed himself. He looks like an elite athlete now.
He's very much a different guy.
As anybody who's ever tried to lose weight or build muscle, or has ever stepped foot in a real gym for longer than an hour, knows that is hard work.
Yes, it is.
That is hard work.
It is extremely hard work. The way he transformed himself is extremely difficult. And
it's very impressive.
Yeah, it's super impressive. And he's still able to move. and still able
I
to.
love that kick that in the corner that
Oh
he does.
yeah,
Nobody does it. He does it like nobody else. I don't. He's got those long, rangy limbs, and he just kind of like slides into it. It looks so cool. Like nobody does it like him. He brought the brain buster
yeah.
back.
Oh, I love it.
That's cool.
I love it. So yeah, I mean, Kyle
Yeah,
Fletcher,
no,
yeah,
I
easily number 5.
my number 5 is somebody who I've been a fan of for a very very long time, far predating his AEW days, and that is your boy Samoa Joe.
Oh yeah,
I
love Joe.
love Samoa Joe. Nobody is. I mean, he's in that Eddie Kingston category where like literally everything he does is believable, and you believe everything that he says. And he obviously TK values him because he strapped him up pretty much immediately with the Ring of Honor Television Championship. Never had him never had him put anybody over. He just let him relinquish it.
Yeah,
Then he had a bunch of TNT titles to his resume, and then he was the one who he entrusted to take the world title off of MJF at the end. Like clearly, TK is as big a fan of Samoa Joe as I am, probably bigger even. You
yeah.
know, uh, the guy's had classic matches everywhere he's gone. He should have beaten Brock Lesnar. He should have beaten Brock Lesnar, or at the very least, he should have been given like a 15-minute match instead of like 4-minute one. Um, but like the dude continues to just surprise me by how effective he is on the mic, how just entertaining he is in the ring. And now he has a stable of guys who are similar minded in Shibata and Hook. So he's helping grow the industry by helping the younger talent as well. When you're talking about Hook and Hobbs too, you can throw him right in there too. Like it's it's great to see, in interviews he comes off just so intelligent and so like he just knows what he's doing at every given moment, and he's the confident that doesn't come off as cocky. Like I hate real world cockiness. I hate it so much. It's so obnoxious. But he's just that calm, cool, collected guy who also happens to be a massive Godzilla fan like myself. So I feel like there would be stuff we could talk about other than wrestling if I could get past my stage fright to talk to him. So there's that. But yeah, Samoa Joe. Joe's the man,
Oh yeah,
dude. Joe's the man.
absolutely.
I love Samoa Joe. One of my favorites of all time, not just on this list.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of his. Pretty much everywhere he's been. So one of the few things I paid attention to in TNA. Like
He
literally, like I didn't pay much attention to TNA except for Samoa Joe and like AJ
was
Styles.
great.
Like that was it.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. My number 4 is actually your number 11.
Oh,
Harley Cameron is
really?
my number 4.
Oh,
Um,
yay. Go Harley. Go
there's going to be
Harley.
a trend beginning right here, as far as the rest of my list goes. Kind of,
Okay.
except for like one entry. The other 3 are going to be on this trend. But Harley is not new to this business. Okay, she's been around a long time. Um, I mean, on the okay, so like compared to like people like Flair or somebody, yes, she's new.
No.
Okay, but she's had a WWE Performance Center contract. She's been on NXT. She was around with QTV and stuff for a while before getting her own time. But I mean, she is okay. She's got a really good thing going on with Anna Jay right now.
Mhm.
Um,
And that's saying something considering it's only like 2 weeks
yeah.
old.
She's super entertaining. She managed to almost polar opposite reverse my opinion about Mercedes in AEW.
Mhm.
And that part is almost enough for her to land this spot.
Yeah.
But she's just so fun to watch and just such a joy to be entertained by. I really enjoy pretty much everything she does. A lot of times when a wrestler does their own theme music, I'm annoyed by it. I think hers is great.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
super big fan. I really am. I think she gets it. She really gets just like she gets how to maximize your minutes. She gets how to entertain.
Better than everybody
Pretty
else, I
much
think.
better
She
than anybody
maximizes her
else
minute.
on the roster. Yeah, and she's not my number one, but she's close. And so yeah, my number four is Harley. She's just really awesome. I really enjoy watching her.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great surprise. I didn't think that she'd be on your list that high. That's fantastic. Good for her. My number four is a little bit more serious. Uh, the greatest tag team in the world, FTR.
Mm.
I love babyface FTR. I love heel FTR. I don't care what anybody has to say about how Dax conducts himself. I don't care about the charges that were levied on Cash, which were dropped. I don't care. Those two are the best tag team that I have ever seen with my own eyes. And I mean, and that's subjective. I get it, but like, they are the best, and you cannot convince me otherwise. Following from their days in NXT, where they just kind of came out of nowhere to win the belts, to the bangers that they had everywhere, the way that they treasure tag team wrestling like nobody else. Tag team wrestling to a lot of people is just seen as a stepping stone to single stardom, but FTR doesn't. They don't have the singular ego like that.
Mm.
They have they have their ego just like anybody else, but it's as a team, and it's not for. And honestly, like, their ego isn't even really all that big. Their ego's in the performance, not of the fake part of it. They don't demand to win all the time. They put people over. Dax, how many times have you seen Dax tap out? So
A
many
bunch, yeah.
times. So many times. He I think he prefers to tap out in order to make his opponents look better. He would rather make his opponents look better than win. And I think Cash is in the same boat there. He just doesn't insist on taking it as often, I
Yeah.
think. But like the way they approach, they can match stylistically up with anybody. They can do literally anything that you want to storytelling wise. Like, they have had banger matches with the Briscoes, with Bang Bang Gang, with the Young Bucks. Like, name a tag team in a major tag team in AEW, and they've had probably their best match. They probably had their best matches with FTR,
Yeah.
and like, I cannot. They're being such dastardly heels now, and it's so fun. And it's just like, I can't even get mad at them. Like, they're my boys. They're my boys, and I love FTR, and I always will. And that's why they're the only tag team on my list. They're the best tag team in the world, and they're number 4 on my list of favorite
Hmm.
AEW acts right now.
Well, continuing two trends on my list. My number three is your number six, and my number three is Willow Nightingale, another lady.
Yeah, baby.
Um, I am such a big fan of Willow's. Like, I I like her wrestling better than I like most of the dudes. And for this women's division, that's really not a hot take at all. Um,
I don't
no,
think
not
so.
at all. They're all
No.
pretty fantastic. I'm a huge fan of Willow's though. We stand Willow in this house. We also stand Labyrinth in this house. So her babe with the power bomb is like right up our alley. I really enjoy her. Katie really enjoys her. I could be completely disinterested in what's happening on the television. Like whatever the match is or segment is, I could be watching, but just 100% disinterested. Uh, if those horns start playing, I am 100% interested. I
Yeah.
sit up. I want to know what's happening right now.
Yep.
So
She's special, man.
she really is.
She is special.
It's an infectious type of like positivity and power, basically. Like, uh, she's just joyful to watch. It like makes me happy watching her wrestle. Um, it makes me even happier watching her kick the shit out of people. Like, I mean, it's just like it's everything I like. It's like she's what I strive to be, which is like happy and positive. It's what everybody should strive to be. I know I'm an angry little asshole, but she is what I strive to be, which is happy and positive, but also able to beat the shit out of you. And
I think that's accurate.
I'm a huge fan of it. I really am. I need her to be in the world championship scene.
Oh, it's gonna
To
happen.
fucking today.
As soon as
like
as soon as they move Tony out of there, the next one in line is gonna be Willow. Willow's gonna take it off of Jamie.
I need Tony Storm to insist she needs a vacation. Like right now. And you'll see why here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, I need her to be part of the world. I don't care if she's fighting Tony or anybody else really. I need Willow to be the women's world heavyweight champion.
I think that she gets crowned at All In next year. I think they're gonna save that big moment for her for the biggest possible occasion. And that's gonna be back in Wembley too, I think, right? So I think they moved All In to Texas this year, but they're moving All In back to England next year, right?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
I would love them to tell me that, and then I don't know, I might go.
Save up and go.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I mean, I want to go to England anyway, so
yeah, it's on my bucket list too. I've had a couple of opportunities that just never really worked out,
yeah.
sadly. My number 3 is arguably the best pound for pound in ring performer in the world, Will Ospreay. I was kind of familiar with him before he started moonlighting in AEW 2 years ago. And then I saw him wrestle, and I'm like, holy cow, this is like this. It's hard to describe, but like, you know how Meltzer just like heaps praise upon the guy and just throws the stars at him. It's like he found like the formula to have the perfect Meltzer match, which for the record is still, no matter what you think of Meltzer, what he rates as really good is a pretty good endorsement. Regardless what you think of him, when he rates a match highly, it's a good match, pretty much universally considered. So somehow Will Ospreay has unlocked the formula, and I can't even express in words what that formula is made up of. But like he unlocks like the way to engage a crowd and make you root for him and have fun all at the same time. And he's so, people who say he doesn't sell don't know what the hell they're talking about.
No, they do not.
Because he makes his opponents look like $1,000,000 every single time. It doesn't even matter if it's a 5-minute match. He's going to sell for 3 of them, and then he's going to hit his stuff and leave. But like, he's going to make you get invested in every single second that he's out there. And I know this for a fact because I've seen him wrestle live twice now. Both times I went to Dynamite last year, I saw him wrestle live, and it was incredible. It was, you could feel it in the audience that even though they were still running the bigger arenas, and so some of the energy is taken out when it's not a full full house, but like when he got in there, it was like a religious experience. Everybody was on their feet, everybody was in the moment with him. He just has this hypnotic quality to him where you can't take your eyes off him, because if you do, you're going to miss something spectacular. There's always that chance that you're going to miss something that you've never seen before, or that you've never seen done in a certain way before. Like, he's, I mean, there's no other way to describe it, but he may be the perfect bell to bell wrestler for 2025. And, there are other aspects to wrestling. And for the record, he's getting better at those. He's far better on the mic in this character than I ever imagined he would be, because he's never been known as a mic guy. But, like, he signed his contract and he came in and he was an immediate, likable, affable babyface. Like, he's incredibly charming.
Yeah.
And I just, with a kid, as a dad of somebody who has autism, it's great that, you know, if my son ever does, get into wrestling like his old man is, I can point and say, look, this guy is, by that point probably, this guy's a champion of the world, and he's autistic just like you. There's nothing you can't do, kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's he's inspiring to me on a personal level on behalf of my son as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, like he's a gift.
Mhm. Well, number two. If y'all want to know what I have to say about Will Ospreay, my number two, please rewind the last 3.5 minutes and listen to it all over again. Easiest part of this segment. My number two is Will Ospreay, and ditto. What's your
Yeah.
number two?
Okay. My number two is the Hangman, Adam
Oh,
Page.
all right.
His story is one of, like, there's a wide web of interconnecting canon stories in AEW, as there should be. It's basically an open world RPG. Um, it's an MMO, guys. It's an MMO. But throughout the whole thing, the connecting tissue is the Hangman story. He was positioned initially as, like, oh, the guy to watch. He was in the match with Jericho to determine the first world champion, and then he lost. And then he was, his friends were there, but they weren't really there for him. And so even when he had success in the tag team with Kenny Omega, he was still really, really self-conscious and really, really doubting himself, and, you know, isolating himself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he found himself. And, like, how I think as wrestling fans too, a lot of us probably really identify with that, because for the longest time, and to a certain degree even today, we get crapped on by other people who don't understand wrestling for liking wrestling. There is an element of understanding there, of not feeling like what you're doing is worth it,
Mm-hmm.
and questioning yourself as to whether or not you thusly have worth. The the common theme for everything surrounding Hangman is the deconstruction of toxic masculinity, and as opposed to positive masculinity, and an honest take at uh, the the pitfalls of poor mental health. And I feel like that's a really, really nuanced thing for wrestling to tackle. And they've done it with him in such a way that it's really, really relatable, and it's tasteful, and it's not, just boiling it down to its, basic components in some kind of pantomime. It's just, it's a really nuanced take that I really appreciate. Who can't get behind the hanger? Like, even when he was a bad guy, no, like, I saw it described on Blue Sky. I can't remember by who. But they said like, yeah, we saw him, turning to the dark side, and we're like, no, no, you're coming with us. We're taking you on a redemption arc. Like it was like we loved the man so much that we wanted to rehab him ourselves, and we wanted to be a part of that. We wanted to be there for him. You know, it takes a special kind of performer to bring that out in an audience member, I think. And there's just something about this guy and the way that he goes about, his character that really touches a lot of the anxious millennials out there, like myself. So, I mean, he is as good as Will Ospreay is in the ring. Adam Page hits that character note because nobody does it like him. He's very, very authentic and very real and very relatable, and that's why he's the main character, right? Like, that's why he's my number two. Hanger's my number two.
Okay. Well, you said Adam Page is your number two. That means I bet that I can, on the nose, name your number one. Because she is conspicuously so far missing from both of our lists. And guess what? She's mine too, I believe. So tell me where I'm going wrong. If I somehow swerve off of who your number one is, tell me I'm wrong. Okay, but she is the best thing in wrestling, period, right now.
Period.
She
absolutely 100%
is your AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Toni Storm.
Absolutely.
I somehow I knew we would be at least aligned on this one, if not any of the other ones. This one.
She is a wrestling goddess. I have never seen anybody come up with such a unique character and commit to it so much.
Yeah.
To the point, I mean, and it's a ludicrous character.
It's so ridiculous, isn't it?
It's so silly.
That's the best part about it, though.
It's exactly my brand of silly.
It's every bit of silly that I want.
Like, I don't think it's ever been done before either, which is
not by a woman.
Weird thing to say.
This type of character, but not even like a movie star, like not an old school film star. Like this is the first time anybody's done this specific thing. Like the closest is like Gotch and Aiden English when they did like the Vaudevillains.
Yeah.
And they would actually be perfect for this. Like if they could bring them two in to be like her little fucking henchmen, even at this stage.
If she ever turns heel,
we could turn her heel. I mean, I don't think it would be hard. Yeah. She just do something vile, like
I don't even
beat Mina Shirakawa.
She's so over.
Beat Mina Shirakawa, and then afterwards, like cut her face with a broken bottle or something, and we could turn her heel. It would take something vile, though. She would do something terrible.
I mean, she is incredibly talented. I'm sure she would find a way. Yeah. But I think she would find it very difficult to get anybody to move her
at least for a while.
She's earned so much equity.
Yeah.
With this character that she it continues to flabbergast me how much she's able to get away with. Like, there are things that she has said on national television that nobody gets to say, and she just says it and doesn't get censored or told anything, so far as I can tell. Like, she is, I mean, and at the pressers, holy crap,
she doesn't. Okay,
she is filthy.
The pressers are usually like paid events, so she can be as filthy as she wants there. That's not, people are paying to watch that, or they're watching it on YouTube after the fact, after they upload it. But AEW's getting paid for that too. So,
right.
She doesn't get censored because despite how filthy she gets and completely unhinged she gets, sometimes she doesn't use any of like the 13 magic words. She completely avoids all of the like censor button curse
She's
words. She doesn't use any of them.
she skates
Oh
right
yeah.
up to that
Yeah,
line.
she toes that. She's a habitual line stepper. Like, she's habitual about it,
It's true.
but she doesn't use, the only reason she doesn't ever get censored, there's no beeps, is because she never uses a beep word. And they're very stringent about that. You only get a beep when you use a beep word. Which is why we get really bad beeps of the crowd when they're chanting fuck Don Callis or something like that.
Yeah.
Because whoever's running the beep button is, you first of all, they're 5 seconds ahead. They're the beep button guy is watching the event live. We are watching it on a 5 second delay for the beep button guy. But the beep button guy, whoever's running it right now, does not know how to time wrestling chants. So inevitably, what we end up getting is fuck beep, fuck beep, fuck beep.
Well, I mean, I'm not even so much talking about the words she uses as the things she talks about.
See,
like
the way
oof,
she does it
like
though, she does it
she's so
in that
talented.
30s and 40s like movie star terminology. Like we know what
Yeah.
she's saying. This is old terminology, but like old people, the people who like control the FCC and stuff like that, they don't find that stuff offensive because that stuff was, that's not, that was inoffensive by the time they came around, because it's from the 30s or 40s. So like she has found a way to be incredibly filthy and incredibly intriguing all at the same time and completely avoid any kind of advertising issue or censorship issue. Like at this point, if they start censoring her, it won't make any sense.
Yeah.
No matter what level it's
You've already let too much slip by.
But yeah, they've already, the floodgate is already open.
Yeah.
Um,
but she, I mean, and she can go in the ring.
Yeah. Oh, fucking
like
so good
I
too.
remember,
I've never seen someone wield an ass with so much power. I haven't. Umaga wishes he could have wielded his ass like she does. Like, holy fuck. Rikishi wishes he had the level of ass power that Tony Storm has. Like, I'm sorry, but
I will say this:
hip attack in my ass. It's an ass attack, and it's powerful. It looks like it beats the shit out of people.
The hip attack I always refer to as the ATM.
The ass to mouth. I mean, ass to trout.
Like, it's about. It's like, oh, somebody's gonna make a deposit. Yeah. But I mean, I've been a fan of Tony Storm since I first saw her in the first Mae Young tournament, and then I got to see her win the second one at Evolution, and we went over this a couple months ago. I rewatched Evolution because I had never seen the show. I mean, I was there live. What did I need to see with commentary for, right? But I rewatched the show when we were going to talk about it, and all throughout the commentary they were saying, "Oh, she's a star of the future." This, that, the other.
Like, little did they fucking know.
At one point, they were high on her, and then she got called up to the main roster a couple of years later, and they didn't do anything with her except make her look like a fool. They sent her back down to NXT. They did nothing with her, and then she was released with all the 70 people during the COVID cuts, and then she showed up in AEW not long after that, and she started kicking tail, and it was great. But I never thought there was this inside of her. Nobody could have known, and she's not even 30.
No. And when she first started this, I was like, this is going to be over in 3 weeks because this is annoying. And then pretty much like everybody else, it grew on me like a fungus. Like after a couple of weeks, I was like, what's she going to do next week?
That's the power of committing to the bit. If you go all in, people will take the ride with you. They're already just suspending their disbelief for running the freaking ropes. The Irish whip is the most fake thing in wrestling, and it's something that happens in every single match that we accept without question every single time. If you make them believe in Irish Whip. You go and you commit to a character. They'll come along for the ride with you. You just got to make sure that you're all in.
Yeah.
That's literally it. You know your character. You make it entertaining. You bring them along for the ride. Make them feel like they're a part of the ride. Which is, I mean, that's a really important part of her character too, is that when she came back, she had like, she did like, we didn't know if it was an amnesia bit or whatever, but she came back as she did when she was first hired in like 2021 or whatever
Yeah.
it was. And it was brilliant. Everybody knew that, well, everybody who watched regularly and was waiting for her to come back knew, oh, this is going somewhere. They didn't know if it was an amnesia bit or if it was a mind game, but they knew that it was going somewhere. And we recognized it for what it was, an invitation to come along for the ride.
Yeah.
And Tony does that better than anybody on the roster, is invite you to come along for a really entertaining ride that nobody else can give you. Like nobody else does what she does.
No.
Nobody else could do what she
No.
does. She's one of a kind. She is absolutely a diamond in the rough, special goddess of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And she did it without WWE.
Yeah.
She did it despite WWE, in fact.
It's true.
Not just without them. She did it to spite them, despite them. And now she's the best thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, period. Period. There's nothing better in wrestling than her.
Full stop. There is nothing more entertaining and nothing better in professional wrestling in the year of our Lord 2025 than timeless Tony Storm. And I will fight you if you have any other opinion than that, because you are a liar. You are lying to yourself. You can lie to me, but don't look in the mirror and lie to yourself. Timeless Tony Storm is professional wrestling for those in the know.
Yes, it is.
And you can take that to the bank.
Amen. Well, yeah, I guess that pretty much sums it up. That'll do. Tony Storm is the best thing in wrestling. I agree, 100%. I think it's really hilarious how Adam just put that, because he is definitely not the if you have a wrong opinion type. But in this case,
everybody's entitled to their wrong opinion, but I will fight you on this one.
This one, yeah. If you don't think she's the best thing, you're just fucking wrong. I'm sorry. I want to know how. You know what? If you don't think Tony Storm is the greatest thing in wrestling, period, right now, climb into my Blue Sky mentions and let me know what it's like to be so confidently and aggressively wrong.
Yeah. No, please do it to him, because I want to see it as a spectator before he tags me in.
Amen.
And we just pummel.
No, you're definitely gonna catch a you're definitely gonna catch a shatter machine about it. So
yeah, there are no strays here. Everything is on
I'm gonna
purpose.
lift you up and go at Adam.bsky.social, and it's gonna be fucking terrible. So
we love you, Tony.
We do love Tony Storm out here, and we are. I'm serious. Like she's the best thing in wrestling right now, and I'm glad we're in agreement. I for some reason I knew our number one would align. And when you said Hangman was your 2, I was like, hell yes.
Yep.
I was like, definitely.
There's only one. Like I said, like the first like 5 or so were easy for me. It's like, oh, okay, this is
number 1 was easy without question. Everything after that was harder, but number 1 was easy. It was easy.
Yeah.
What do I love most about AEW? Number 1, Tony Storm. Like I was just like, it was immediate.
Don't even have to.
I didn't have to. I don't have to at all. And I don't really. I don't mean we could talk about how great she is all day. We don't have to justify it to anybody. Everybody knows too. And if you don't, you're wrong. So
yep.
I mean, yeah,
it's true.
So
it's damn true.
It's damn true. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that was it for the week, guys. We really appreciate everybody who's listening. Look, Adam mentioned it earlier, but we did have like a 1,950% increase in listeners. literally from the week we last did WWE content to switching to AEW.
We heard you loud.
We heard you all loud and clear. Yeah. We were apprehensive about this move because we thought we were going to further alienate our fan base, and we didn't want to do that. But we have actually expanded it quite a bit. I mean, it's significant enough that I'm like, wow, okay, like that's a hell of a number. I can't wait to see what it looks like tomorrow morning when I open it up to do this upload from last week. So thanks for everybody who's listening. We love you guys. Like I always say, keep your head up out there. It's a hard world, and you need to be safe. So be safe. We love you.
Absolutely. Love you guys.
Peace.
We will be here next week with our watch along.
Yeah, our Double or Nothing watch along next week.
So if you want to watch the show again, do so with us. We're giving you the heads up.
We got the best director commentary in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peace.